I believed in second chances and a youth counselor helping lost kids find hope. Yet I never guessed I'd be the one betrayed, undone by her late-night secrets and a smug mogul named Hector. She claimed late meetings, returning at 2 a.m. reeking of a cologne I'd never worn. I followed the digital breadcrumbs, hush money deposits, penthouse visits, and a twisted web of lies. My trust shattered, but I refused to be her fool. Armed with hidden cameras and righteous rage, I orchestrated their public downfall. Now under the merciless flash of headlines, they burn while left with the ashes of our vow. Chapter 1. It's 7:15. On a Monday morning when I step into the community center. The overhead fluorescents flicker on one by one. The place so quiet I can hear my own footsteps ricochet off the worn linoleum. I hold a couple of paper cups, black coffee in one, sweet vanilla latte in the other, though I can't recall the last time I had a taste for vanilla anything. I'm Chase Morrison, 29 years old, originally from a sleepy corner of Utah but living here in Colorado Springs for the past 3. I used to be an intern at a church, studying for the ministry. That path changed when I realized my true calling involved a different congregation, underprivileged and battered kids who need a guide. This center has become my little kingdom of hope. Outside the office door, I glance down at the latte in my hand. I've gotten into the habit of picking it up on the way, an extra, unnecessary courtesy for my wife, Riley. But she's never around here in the mornings. She's got her own hustle in the city, or so she claims. For a half-beat, I consider tossing it. Then I sigh. Maybe I'll find someone else who'd appreciate a sweet pick-me-up. I unlock my modest office, a cluttered space, with motivational posters I never asked for pinned to the walls. The bright neon "You Matter" sign is half peeling off, corners held by ancient tape. Immediately, I'm greeted by a few stacked case files, teenage runaways, kids in foster care, a new wave of them needing counseling sessions. Setting both coffees on my beat-up desk, I settle into my rolling chair. I flick on my desktop computer. The old fan inside it whirs like it might croak any minute. Within moments, there's a rap at the door. Candace Reed, the center's administrative head, pokes her head in. "Morning, sunshine. Brought you some, oh." She sees the 2 cups. "I was going to offer tea, but I guess you're double-fisting coffees today?" I chuckle, rubbing the back of my neck. "One's for me, one's for yeah. Never mind." Candace's eyes dart from me to the extra cup. She's not oblivious, nor is she shy about reading the cracks in my personal life. "Okay," she says softly. "If you change your mind, let me know." Then more pointedly, "Chase, you holding up okay?" It's her code for "you look stressed." Usually I'd brush it aside with a pat answer, but today something about her tone makes me linger. I open my mouth. Maybe to talk about Riley's unusual hours or the faint hum of suspicion that's been nagging me. But I close it, offering a half smile. "I'm good, thanks, Candace." She reads the flicker of unease, but nods. "Well, we're on a tight schedule. The after-school session starts at 3. Got a new intake from the county kid named Emil. Troubled family might need special attention. You up for it?" I pinch the bridge of my nose. "Yeah, I'm definitely up for it. Just put the file on my desk." She does so, giving me a final lingering look. Then she's gone, footsteps echoing down the corridor. I stare at the second coffee, the sweet vanilla, and exhale. By lunchtime, the center is bustling. Kids roam the hallway, some half-laughing, some with hollow eyes. My counseling sessions revolve around hearing their stories, letting them vent. Today it's Monique, a 15-year-old who's been skipping classes because she's bullied for her thrift store clothes. She's all trembling hands and watery eyes. I talk her through some coping strategies, assure her we can help with after-school programs. Maybe even get her connected with community resources for new clothing. She's more receptive than I expected, must be desperate for kindness. When the session ends, Monique stands up and whispers, Thank you, Mr. Morrison. You have no idea how much it means. You're welcome, Monique. And hey, just come by any time, all right? After she leaves, my mind drifts to how personal betrayal can push someone into dark places. It's not so different for adults. All it takes is one person you trust, cutting you to the core. My phone vibrates in my pocket. I fish it out, half hoping it's a text from Riley, some cheerful message explaining last night's late arrival. Instead, it's from Jonas West. Coffee tomorrow? Heard anything about that situation? I type back, sure. Let's meet at Donovan's at 8. He's probably referencing the fact I'd told him a few nights ago. I think my wife's lying to me. Riley's an event coordinator, fresh-faced and ambitious. The job started smaller, at a local wedding planning outfit. But she wanted bigger stages. She found a gig with Elton Grand Music Venue, a higher-end concert hall and lounge. That's where she's been devoting all her energy, and it's also how she's come to mention Mr. Vidal in passing. A man I've never met. But the name alone leaves a sour taste. Hector Vidal, some big shot from Denver who invests in new artists. I catch myself drumming my fingers on the desk. I do that when I'm anxious. She was out till almost 2 a.m. last night, claiming she was finalizing details for an upcoming performance at the venue. She slid into bed reeking of some cologne. Must have been somebody at the club wearing strong aftershave, she mumbled when I stirred. I let it go. But inside, I was rattled. Around 4 p.m., the kids from the after-school group cluster in the multi-purpose room, playing ping-pong or flipping idly through old magazines. I join them, crack a few jokes, and attempt to keep the mood light. A couple of them bring up a music therapy jam session we've done in the past. It triggers a memory, me standing at a battered piano, leading them in chords while we improvised silly lyrics. "Let's do that again, Mr. Morrison," squeals Liza, a pint-sized 8th grader. "We could so use the stress relief." "Sure," I say, adopting a grin that feels half real. "We'll schedule one soon." I love sharing music with them. But my own heart's thumping with negativity these days, making me wonder if I'm faking it. Monique approaches, tapping my elbow. Mr. Morrison, you okay?" The fact she's reading me when I'm supposed to be the stable presence makes my gut twist. I gently wave it off. "I'm good. Thanks. Just a lot on my mind." But deep down, I know a lot on my mind is code for my marriage might be in trouble. At 7 p.m., I'm locking up the building. The last volunteer has left, flicking off the hallway lights behind me. The Colorado evening air seeps through the glass doors. I brace myself. Typically, I'd go home to a home-cooked meal by this hour, or at least some semblance of normalcy. But lately, dinner with my wife is more a cameo show. She's rarely there, or if she is, she's fixated on her phone. I slide into my car, start the engine, and check my phone. A single text from Riley. "Might be working late. Don't wait up." I laugh under my breath, a hollow, dry laugh. She used to sign her texts with a heart, maybe an "I love you." Now it's concise, almost clinical. The drive back to our small apartment is quiet. I park, head inside. The lights are off, the place tidy, but with a weird emptiness. I fix myself a quick sandwich, not hungry enough for anything else. Hours later, I'm lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, rethinking every scenario. Could she be with friends? Could it just be that her job is demanding? Possibly. But my instincts are screaming otherwise. I've seen the texts. Midnight ticks by with no sign of her. Then the phone buzzes on her nightstand, lighting up the darkness. Hector calling. Without thinking, I reach for it. By the time I grasp it, it stops ringing. My chest constricts. Is he calling at midnight about some urgent event detail, or is it personal? I exhale, set the phone back. 5 minutes crawl by. Then I pick it up again, half ashamed, half angry, and press a single button to open her recent calls. I see his number repeated multiple times. The last one, labeled as tonight. There's also an unsaved number that texted, "Missing you, hope the suite is as nice as last time." I almost fling the phone across the room. Instead, I place it down carefully like it's a venomous serpent. My hands tremble. If I confront her now, without more proof, she might gaslight me, twist the story. She's cunning, I can sense it. I decide to wait. Wait and gather. At 2:13 a.m., I hear the keys jingle at the front door. I pretend to be asleep. She creeps into the bedroom, sets her purse down with a heavy sigh. There's a faint whiff of perfume, maybe something she spritzed on top of that cologne. She goes to the bathroom, the water runs. 30 minutes later, she slips under the covers, leaving a wide gulf between us. I keep my breathing slow, feigning deep sleep. Inside, my mind swirls. Where was she? Who was she with? My phone, face down on the nightstand, rests as a silent witness. Morning comes abruptly. She's up before me, rummaging in the kitchen. I step out, see her leaning against the counter, sipping coffee. She's wearing a crisp blouse and slim-cut slacks, hair in a messy yechik bun. Not exactly the worn-down look of someone who worked a late shift, I note. "Morning," she says, with a forced brightness. "Got a busy day at the venue. Big event next week." "Busy how?" I ask, trying to sound casual as I grab a cereal bowl. My question must come off as a mild suspicion. She eyes me. "Just coordinating logistics," she says. "Sponsors, lineups. It's complicated." I nod, stirring my cereal. In a slow, measured tone, I press, "Sponsors, would that include Hector Vidal, by any chance?" She freezes for a fraction of a second. "Yeah, he's an investor," she says quickly. "He's actually a decent guy." "Surprising for an investor," I hum non-committally. "Decent, sure." Her eyes flick to me. "What's that supposed to mean?" I shrug. "Nothing. You mention him a lot. Just curious." She sips her coffee, face unreadable. "Well, we talk, we do business, that's it." I watch her. Watch how she deflects. My heart's racing under my calm demeanor. Then I set my bowl down, muster a neutral expression. "Makes sense." We linger in silence, thick as fog. Finally, she says, "I should head out." She pushes past me lightly, giving me a polite peck on the cheek. So brief, it's almost a courtesy gesture. "Have a good day at the center." I want to call out, "Wait, we need to talk about the calls, the late nights, the cologne." Instead, I let her go. Once she's gone, my phone chirps. A text from Jonas. "Hey man, see you in a bit?" Donovan's, 8 a.m. I glance at the clock. 7:35, I can make it. I toss the remains of my cereal, slip on my jacket, and leave. In the elevator, my reflection in the metal wall looks like a man on the verge of something big, like I'm about to cross a line. My posture is stiff, jaw clenched. The swirling in my gut? It's not just heartbreak or jealousy, it's planning. I step out into the crisp morning air, determination surging. If she's betraying me, I won't be the naive husband letting it slide. I'll gather proof. I'll find a way to ensure that when the dust settles, I'm not the one left in ruins. Chapter 2. Donovan's coffee shop sits on a tree-lined block near downtown. It's one of those places that tries for a rustic vibe. Reclaimed wood, chalkboard menus, indie music tinkling softly. I see Jonas right away, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a simple blazer. He waves me over, a half-smile on his face. We've been friends since college, back when I was grappling with religious studies and he was all about pre-law. "Morning, buddy," Jonas greets, standing to do a quick one-armed hug. "You look tense." "Just had an interesting night," I reply. "Little sleep?" He nods, and gestures to the barista. "I'll get you something. Latte? Or your usual black?" "Just black coffee, keep it simple," I say. We settle at a corner table. The smell of roasted beans and fresh pastries is comforting. But my mind's on a different track. Jonas sips his own coffee. "All right, spill," he says. "You texted me days ago about your wife lying. That wasn't a passing comment, was it?" I take a deep breath, flick my gaze to the other patrons. None seem to be paying us any attention. "No, I've come to believe Riley might be having an affair, or at least some kind of relationship with a guy named Hector." Jonas sets his cup down. "Damn. You sure?" I recount the suspicious texts, the late nights, the mention of his name in voicemails, the intangible vibe of disinterest and secrecy in my own home. Jonas's face darkens. "All right. So you suspect, but you need proof," he murmurs. "I know it's tough, but if she's stepping out, you can't confront her empty-handed." My shoulders slump slightly. "That's what I'm thinking. If I accuse her without something concrete, she'll talk circles around me." He nods. "Look, I can check into this Hector Vidal. If there's anything shady in his background, it might help you. If he's the type to sponsor affairs, or he's known for seducing..." I give a humorless smile. "He's a music producer. Rich. Probably used to getting what he wants, and I suspect Riley wants that life." Jonas rubs his chin. "Let me do some digging. Meanwhile, you keep playing it cool. You got it in you to do that?" I inhale sharply. "You know me, Jonas. I can wear a mask as long as needed." After Donovan's, I head straight to the community center. The drive feels surreal, like I'm floating. My phone stays silent, no texts from Riley. By mid-morning, I'm in the office, reading up on Hector Vidal. The limited info online shows he co-owns a label in Denver, invests in new talent, frequently at high-profile events. He's a bit older than me, mid-30s maybe. I see a few slick photos of him at charity functions, always with a different date on his arm. The flicker of anger in my chest grows. Candace knocks at the door. "Chase, we got a new volunteer wanting to speak with you. A friend of yours, actually." "A friend? Who is it?" "Someone named Desiree Palmer." I blink. Desiree and I grew up in the same small neighborhood years ago. I haven't seen her in ages, aside from a random Facebook post about her singing gigs. "Send her in," I say, curious. Desiree enters timidly. Her once bright blonde hair is pulled in a messy ponytail, her eyes tired. But that same spark from childhood remains beneath the weariness. I stand, offering a handshake that quickly turns into a light hug. "Wow. It's been forever," I say. "What brings you here?" She settles in the chair across from my desk, fiddling with the hem of her jacket. I'm kinda between jobs," she admits, voice trembling. "Tried to get something going as a singer in Los Angeles. Ended up with a manager who scammed me. Took most of my savings. Now I'm back in Colorado, looking for a fresh start." My concern intensifies. "I'm sorry, that's horrible. Are you okay?" She forces a half smile. "I'll live. But I heard from a mutual friend, you manage music therapy sessions here, might need volunteers. I'm not above any honest work, you know?" "Sure, we'd love to have you help," I say, sincerity in my tone. "The kids respond well to music. It could be a lifeline for them." Desiree's eyes shimmer with gratitude. "Thank you, Chase. Really. I'm trying to get my feet under me again. I promise her we'll set up some volunteer hours." She stands to leave, then glances around. "This is your office, huh? So you're a counselor now, not a pastor?" I shrug. Long story. But yeah, I found this calling more direct, if you get what I mean. She nods. "I do. You always were good at listening, better at actually helping people than preaching at them. I smile. The moment gives me a sliver of hope my personal life is in chaos. But at least I can do some good here. Afternoon arrives, and I find myself retrieving a dull sub sandwich from the staff lounge fridge. Candace passes by, sees me slumped over a table. She sets down her bag of organic trail mix and slides into a chair. "You want to talk about it?" she offers gently. I chew a bite, swallowing. "About what?" She gives me a look that says, "Don't play dumb. Whatever's got you looking like you're juggling knives in your head." With a sigh, I decide to give her the watered-down version. "I think Riley might not be telling me the truth about her schedule." Candace arches a brow. "Is it just job stress or something else?" I exhale, fight the urge to confide everything. "I'm not certain yet. Let's just say it's bigger than a job stress." She places her hand over mine briefly. "You need me to run interference on anything? Keep your duties lighter while you sort things out?" A surge of gratitude floods me. She's a good colleague, a good friend. I appreciate it. Let's see how it goes. Right now, I want to keep routine for these kids. They rely on stability. She nods. "Well, I'm here if you need." Then she moves off, leaving me with half my sandwich untouched. At 3 p.m., the second wave of kids arrives. Among them is a new face, Emil, the case file Candace mentioned. He's slender, arms crossed, eyes scanning warily. I approach with a mild smile. "Emil? I'm Chase Morrison. I help with counseling here." He just shrugs. "Cool." I lead him to my office, motioning for him to sit. His posture is stiff. "So, how are things?" I ask gently. "Fine," he mutters, the typical teenage deflection. I continue softly. "The county told us you might want a safe space to talk. No pressure, but if you ever do, I'm here." He looks at me, eyes flickering with hidden pain. "Whatever." It's a short introduction, a subtle exchange, but I sense the same betrayal in his gaze I see in the mirror each morning. This is what it feels like to have your trust shattered. By the time 7 p.m. rolls around, I'm exhausted. I collect my things, wave goodbye to Candace, and head outside. The parking lot glimmers under harsh fluorescent lights. A mild evening breeze hits my face. My phone buzzes. A text from Riley. "Won't make it home for dinner. Long night with the planning team. Sorry." I close my eyes. Another blow. I consider ignoring her, but I text back. "Got it. Be safe. No love you, no miss you." My words feel heavy. I slide into my car. The engine starts. A radio talk show murmurs. I switch it off, letting silence cradle me. Then I recall Jonas's suggestion. Gather evidence. I think about the possibility of seeing a private investigator. Would that be too extreme? But remembering last night's phone calls, the repeated mention of Hector's name, I realize I might not have a choice if I want the truth. An hour later, I'm at home, microwaving leftover pizza. The TV plays in the background a random sitcom. My eyes keep drifting to the clock. 9 p.m. 10 p.m. 11 p.m. The door never opens. My phone remains silent. Each tick of the clock digs into me like a sharpened blade, carving out trust, leaving emptiness. I try to distract myself by flipping channels. My mind wanders to the next day's counseling sessions. Then I think of Desiree's tired face, Jonas's concerned expression, and Riley, out there somewhere, possibly with him. Finally, near midnight, I can't stand the tension. I decide to do something a little out of character, check our shared laptop thoroughly. She uses it to coordinate events. Maybe there's a schedule or some references to Hector. I open the laptop on the kitchen table, the overhead light humming. The background is a scenic shot from our honeymoon in the Rockies, both of us smiling bright. That memory feels like it belongs to strangers now. Navigating to her email, I pause. We don't usually invade each other's privacy, but everything has changed. I type her password. A small jolt of relief that she hasn't changed it. My eyes scan through her inbox. A flurry of messages from the venue's official domain, mentions of booking fees, sponsor lists. Then something stands out. A forwarded confirmation for a luxurious hotel suite in Denver, dated 3 nights ago. The credit card used? Not mine, not the joint account. Possibly Hector's? I open it. It's billed to Vidal Entertainment, referencing client accommodations. My pulse pounds. The check-in date was exactly when Riley claimed she had a team-building meeting. Next, I see an email with the subject line, Studio Apartment Inquiry. It references Hector and Riley both as potential co-renters. My stomach churns. Are they planning a place together, or is it just some hush-hush business deal? Either scenario is nauseating. I'm still combing through her messages when I find a separate folder labeled Personal. Inside are more chat logs. The ones that catch my eye are with a handle HeckVital85. They're explicit. My breath hitches as I see lines like cannot wait to see you again, R, and we'll finalize the arrangement soon. God, this is it. More than enough evidence that her relationship with him goes beyond professional. I glance around the empty apartment, as if it might confirm or deny my worst fears. But the place is silent, mocking me. Anger simmers in my veins. But I clamp it down, screenshot everything, copy it to a USB drive, label it discreetly. Then, with trembling fingers, I log out, clearing my tracks. I shut the laptop and let my head drop into my hands. For a long moment, I can't move. Rage and heartbreak swirl. Finally, I stand, chest heaving, and vow, she won't get away with making me the fool. Around 1 a.m., the door cracks open. I see her silhouette. She steps inside, blinking at the lamp I left on. She notices me standing by the couch, arms folded. "Hey!" She starts, but the words feel forced. "I texted you, said I'd be late. We had a big sponsor dinner." I force an even tone. "Yeah, I got that text." She sets her keys down, not meeting my gaze. Her face is faintly flushed, eyes shifting. "You're up late." "Couldn't sleep," I say, letting the tension hang. She hesitates, then shrugs. "We'll talk tomorrow, okay? I'm exhausted." She moves to walk away, but I step forward. My mind screams to confront her, show her the evidence. But a cold voice in me says, "Wait, you need a plan." So I let her pass. Let her escape into the bedroom. Alone in the living room, I stare at the city lights outside. I vow to be strategic. If she wants secrets, I'll gather enough of my own to ensure I come out on top. Chapter 3. Morning dawns with a dull ache in my chest. I barely slept, drifting in and out of anxious half-dreams. When I shuffle into the kitchen, she's already gone, just a note on the counter. Early day. Don't forget groceries. So casual, as if last night didn't happen. For a moment, bitterness surges. I used to love her neat scrawls on a sticky note, reminding me of errands or random sweet nothings. Now it's a tool to keep me at arm's length. I breathe out, slip the note into the trash, and head to the community center. On the way, I call Jonas. "Hey," he answers, voice muffled by road noise. "You okay?" "Not in the slightest. I found some stuff on her laptop. It's bad." A brief pause. "Meet me at lunch?" "Done. Let's do it." By 10 a.m., I've already gone through 2 counseling sessions. My mind is half in the conversation, half spinning with thoughts of betrayal. I notice Candace eyeing me from the far side of the hallway. She must sense I'm operating on autopilot. When I duck into my office, there's Desiree, perched in a chair, flipping through a chord book for one of the music classes. She looks up. "Hey, you all right? You seem tense." I rub my face. Yeah, just not sleeping well. She nods sympathetically. I know that feeling. Then she hesitates. Listen, not to pry, but I overheard Candace mention you and Jonas might be looking into something personal. My hackles rise slightly. Candace told you that? No. No, Candace only said you'd be stepping out for lunch. I put two and two together, Desiree clarifies. But I do remember how Jonas is a lawyer and you've been on edge. She shrugs apologetically. I'm worried about you. I glance away. The last thing I want is to broadcast my marital meltdown. But Desiree's face is open, kind. Look, if it's about Riley and if, I cut in, voice cool, I appreciate your concern, Des, but I'm handling it. She exhales. Okay. Just know I'm here to help. I hate seeing you like this. A pang of guilt hits me. She's a friend who's endured her own heartbreak. Maybe sharing a crumb would lighten my burden, but I just nod. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Lunchtime arrives, and Jonas swings by the center in his sedan. I hop in. Scanning the courtyard, Candace waves from the entrance, as if cheering me on. Jonas drives us to a quiet diner, the kind with vinyl booths. We choose a booth in the far corner. Once the waitress departs with our sandwich orders, Jonas leans forward, steepling his fingers. Tell me what you found. I explain the hotel suite confirmation, the incriminating emails referencing an apartment, the explicit chat logs. His expression grows grim. That's pretty conclusive, he says softly. I'm sorry, man. I clench my jaw. Don't be. I'm more angry than sorry. She's playing me. And it's not just sex. There's money, sponsor deals, maybe a plan to run off with him. Jonas shakes his head. We can't let that happen. If you want a shot at a fair settlement, or if you want to protect your finances, we need a plan. I drum my fingers on the table, echoing the tension inside. I want more than that. I want them both to regret crossing me. He studies me. You're talking revenge. That's exactly what I'm talking about, I say, letting the cold edge show. If they think I'm some naive do-gooder, they have no clue. Our sandwiches arrive. Jonas waits for the waitress to leave, then continues. So, how far do you want to go? You have enough to file for divorce on grounds of adultery. I swirl my straw in my iced tea. I want more than just a clean break. If they're conspiring financially, maybe we can nail him for something. I read that he invests in questionable deals, maybe hush money to other women. Jonas arches a brow. We could dig. If we find shady financial dealings, we can threaten exposure. A small grin tugs at my lips. We blackmail him? Jonas holds up a hand. We call it leverage. We get what you need, your share, your reputation intact, maybe a bit extra for your trouble. Then we let them crumble under their own weight. I exhale, a swirl of conflicting feelings, but the overriding emotion is satisfaction. Yes, this is how I fight back. Returning to the center, I find Candace in the hallway. She corners me. Everything good? I nod. As good as it can be. Her gaze narrows. Chase, you don't have to lie. I see it in your eyes. You're planning something. I manage a thin smile. Candace, I appreciate your support. Just trust me, I need to handle this my own way. She studies me a moment, then sighs. I do trust you. Just be careful. Don't let your anger overshadow who you are. Her words strike a chord. I nod, turning away. I'll keep that in mind. Around 3 p.m., Desiree's in the music room, practicing a soft acoustic tune on an old guitar. I slip in to watch, arms folded. The gentle chords fill the space with a serene vibe. She glances up, then finishes the verse. Beautiful, I say. She smiles shyly. Thanks. Still a bit rusty, but the kids seemed to enjoy it earlier. We talk for a few minutes about her background. She confesses how her ex-manager scammed her. He promised me a record deal, took money for promotion fees, then ghosted. That's terrible, I say. You gonna press charges? She shrugs. Not enough proof, and I was naive. Hard lesson learned. She sets the guitar aside, expression turning sympathetic. But maybe that's why I sense you're going through a tough time. Betrayal, it leaves scars. I let out a slow breath. It does. But I'm done being a victim. Her eyes flicker. She hesitates. If you ever need me to gather intel or something, I'm weirdly good at sniffing out secrets. Learned from dealing with that manager. I almost laugh. Appreciate the offer. I might take you up on it. Late afternoon transitions to early evening. The center empties out. I remain behind, working on paperwork. The phone on my desk rings. I answer with a routine, "Community Center, Chase speaking." A voice on the other end, male and confident. "Hi, I'm looking for Ms. Reed, but maybe you can help me. My name's Hector Vidal. I understand there's a potential fundraising partnership with your center. I'd like to—" My heart stops. Hector is calling the community center? Could it be a random philanthropic angle, or is he orchestrating something that ties into Riley's agenda? In a controlled tone, I say, "Candace isn't available right now. May I take a message?" He chuckles lightly. "Sure. Let her know Hector from Denver Entertainment Group is interested in exploring a youth music initiative. I hear good things about your center." I swallow. "Got it. I'll let her know. Hector Vidal, correct?" "That's right." We exchange polite goodbyes. The line clicks off. My skin prickles. This can't be a coincidence. Riley must have planted the idea for him to sponsor a program here, bridging her two worlds. If so, it's a new angle for me to gather more intel. I lock up the center at 7:30 p.m. Darkness drapes the parking lot. My phone pings. Another text from Riley. "Heading to Denver again. Short notice. Don't wait up. A wave of fury surges. She's not even trying to hide it now. Denver at night? Probably meeting him. I grit my teeth. Jonas's advice echoes. Gather proof. Remain calm. A half-formed idea bubbles in my mind. If she's heading to Denver, maybe I can track her. I recall Jonas mentioned a GPS tracker. Perhaps tonight is the night to start. I call Jonas, explaining the situation. He says he can meet me in an hour. Hand over a small device. We arrange to meet at a gas station off the interstate. When I arrive, Jonas is waiting by his car, arms folded. The overhead lights illuminate the determined set of his jaw. He hands me a tiny black device, about the size of a matchbox. "Magnetic," he explains. "Attach it under her trunk or wheel well. Sync it to your phone via this app. You'll see real-time location." I exhale. I never imagined I'd be doing spy stuff on my own wife. Jonas places a hand on my shoulder. "I know, but you have to be sure. If you want to catch them in the act, this is how." By 9:45 p.m., I'm back at our apartment. Riley's car is parked outside. The lights are on in the living room. She's still here, probably gathering her things. I step out of my own vehicle cautiously. Approaching her car, I do a quick scan. No sign of neighbors or onlookers. I kneel by the rear bumper, sliding the tracker into a discreet position. My heart pounds, adrenaline surging as if I'm committing a crime. In truth, I'm only protecting myself from her duplicity. I slip inside the apartment. She's in the bedroom, rifling through a suitcase. A new wave of anger hits me. She's literally packing an overnight bag. She glances up, caught off guard. "Chase, I told you I have to drive to Denver tonight. Last-minute gig planning." I manage a neutral expression. "Right. Just came home to pick up something I forgot." She eyes me warily. "You're not upset?" I feign a casual shrug. "It's your job. Can't stand in the way of that, can I?" Her posture relaxes slightly, though her eyes still hold suspicion. "No, you can't. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, okay? Sure. Drive safe, I say, voice clipped. She lingers, maybe expecting me to argue or beg for an explanation. I just stand there, arms folded. Finally, she exhales and zips her suitcase. Within minutes, she's out the door. I watch from the window, see her car pull away into the night. Then I quickly open the tracking app on my phone. A small blinking dot starts moving across the map. My chest feels heavy, but a corner of me is satisfied. I wait half an hour, letting her get on the highway. Then I jump into my car and follow, hanging far back. The tracker updates me every few seconds. She's going straight north to Denver. About an hour into the drive, she exits onto a side route. I keep my headlights low, letting other cars remain between us. The tension in my gut is thick. Where is she going exactly? The tracker shows she pulls into a swanky district near downtown. I park a few blocks away, cutting my lights. Through the phone's map, I watch her dot settle near a high-rise building. I step out, scanning the area. My pulse hammers. If I see them together, it cements my evidence. This is a big risk, though if she sees me, I blow the plan. I walk carefully along the sidewalk, the city's nightlife swirling, couples heading to clubs, cars honking. Then I spot her figure near the building's glass entrance. She stands under the bright lights, phone in hand. Moments later, a tall, well-dressed man steps out. Hector. I know it's him. Even from a distance, he has that smug posture, the same face I saw in online photos. They greet each other intimately, a kiss on the cheek, his hand at her waist. My heart twists with a vicious ache. But I raise my phone discreetly, capturing a few photos from behind a row of parked cars. They walk inside, the doorman letting them pass. I linger outside, snapping more pictures of the building name. Wellington Heights Luxury Residences. So, not even a hotel this time. Possibly that studio apartment, or maybe he just has a penthouse here. I step back into the shadows, phone trembling in my hand. The fury is real, but overshadowed by a sense of dark triumph. I have them. I drive back to Colorado Springs in a haze, my thoughts a tangled mess of heartbreak and cold resolve. By the time I reach the city limits, it's nearly 2 a.m. My phone shows her location still pinned at that same high-rise. Overnight stay, no doubt. I force myself to sleep for a few hours, if only to keep functioning. Dawn creeps in gray and listless. My first conscious thought is, they spent the night together. I clench my teeth and push it aside, methodically showering, dressing, and heading out. At the center, Candace looks at me with open concern. "You look ill, Chase. Are you sure?" "I'm fine," I say curtly, then softening, "Apologies, rough night, not much rest." She nods slowly. "All right, but if you need me to pick up any slack, just say so." Desiree corners me in the corridor. "Hey, there's a fundraiser meeting in 5, but are you okay?" I wave a dismissive hand. "I'm sure you can handle that meeting. I have something else to do." Her brow furrows. "Sure, I guess." I slip away, phone in hand. The tracker app shows her car on the move again, heading back south, presumably to our apartment. Part of me wants to rush home and confront her, but Jonas's voice echoes. "Get your pieces in place first." Midday, I dash out for a quick break, calling Jonas from my car. "She stayed overnight with him at some fancy building. I got pictures." Jonas whistles. "That's direct evidence. Enough for a surefire divorce ruling in your favor. But if you want bigger revenge, we can weave this into something that threatens Hector's public image. He invests in music and events, right? Maybe we can time a scandal." I tap the steering wheel. "He might even be trying to sponsor the center. He called the other day." Jonas chuckles darkly. "That's perfect. If he tries to attach his name to your center, you can unravel him from inside." A swirl of excitement crosses my mind, like a plan is forming. Yes. He invests in philanthropic fronts. So if the public learns he's using them to push personal affairs and shady deals, it'll blow up. Let's do some more digging, Jonas says firmly, and keep your guard up around Riley. When I get back to the center, I find a note from Candace. Sponsor inquiry. Hector Vidal wants a meeting tomorrow. I scheduled for 2 p.m. Let me know if that's okay. I grin mirthlessly at the irony. He's walking into my domain. Perfect. I scrawl back. Yes, that's fine. The rest of the day is a blur counseling sessions, administrative tasks, Desiree leading a small guitar circle. I pass through hearing the kids laugh. Normally, this is where I'd step in with enthusiasm, but I'm too preoccupied with the storm brewing in my personal life. At 6 p.m., I finally go home. Sure enough, Riley's there, casually flipping through a magazine on the couch, like nothing's happened. She glances up. You're late, she remarks. Long day? I stand by the door, dropping my keys into a bowl. Yeah, I had to finalize tomorrow's sponsor meeting. She stiffens slightly. Sponsor meeting? I walk over, arms folded. A man named Hector Vidal. He called to arrange potential support for the center. Surprised you never mentioned it. She tries to mask her reaction, but fails. Her eyes flick away. Well, I might have known he was looking at that. He invests in charities sometimes. I give a small, humorless laugh. Yes, apparently so. An awkward silence thickens the room. Then she clears her throat. Look, I'm exhausted from the Denver trip. Mind if we talk later? I sense her wanting to bolt from the conversation. Sure, I say, voice flat. Later. She disappears into the bedroom, leaving me alone in the living room. I stare after her, mind racing. She's lying to my face, but tomorrow Hector will be in my territory. I can't wait. Sleep is elusive again. She climbs into bed around 11, taps away at her phone, ignoring me. I lie there, listening to her mild breathing once she dozes off. My phone rests on my chest. I have all the photos from last night. The evidence is damning. In the darkness, I think about how to corner them both. Something big, public maybe. Jonas is right, exposing them in a dramatic way could be the ultimate blow. I recall how a scandal could force them to scramble. Perhaps an event at the center where I reveal Hector's affair with my wife. But that might put the center at risk. Still, a plan brews. I drift off with the ghost of a grim smile on my face. Morning arrives. Riley's gone again by the time I wake. The text left behind. Need to handle some errands. See you tonight. No mention of love or affection. I rummage for coffee, then slip on a crisp shirt and tie something I rarely do at the center, but for the sponsor meeting, I want a professional edge. When I arrive, Candace raises an eyebrow at my attire. You dressing up for Vidal or? I force a small grin. Gotta look the part. She pats my shoulder. He's meeting us at 2, in the conference room. Jonas might drop by as well, right? In case we need legal guidance. I nod. Yes, I asked him to. He's free this afternoon. Before lunch, I help Desiree organize the music storage closet. She keeps sneaking glances at me, clearly sensing my heightened mood. Chase, she says, I can't ignore how you've been acting. Something's going on. I exhale, resting a stack of sheet music on a shelf. I appreciate your concern, but let's just say I'm about to handle a personal matter. And hopefully it'll be resolved soon. She sets down a dusty tambourine, looking me straight in the eye. If you need a backup, I'm here. Especially if it involves that Hector creep. I've heard rumors about him. He's shady. I tilt my head. You've heard rumors? She nods. In my singer circles, people talk. He lures young talent with false promises. Some got stuck in weird deals. My jaw tightens. Thanks, Desiree. I'll keep that in mind. Finally, 2 p.m. rolls around. Candace, Jonas, and I gather in the small conference room. Jonas has a small notepad open, a pen ready. Candace is flipping through some brochures about the center's programs. Then Hector strolls in, wearing an expensive charcoal suit, a watch that probably costs more than my monthly salary. He flashes a polished smile. "Greetings, everyone. Thanks for having me." I stand last, meeting his gaze with forced politeness. "Mr. Vidal, pleasure. I'm Chase Morrison, lead youth counselor." He nods, shaking my hand. His grip is firm, but I refuse to back down. Our eyes lock, there's a flicker of recognition as if he's thinking, this is the husband. But his face remains neutral. We all sit. Candace does the opener. "We're thrilled you're interested in partnering with us. We have a variety of youth programs, counseling, music therapy, academic tutoring." Hector leans in, casting a charming look around the table. "Yes, I've heard wonderful things. My goal is to support local communities through the arts. Possibly fund new instruments, maybe sponsor events that highlight talented teens." I watch him carefully, noticing how he avoids looking directly at me. He's likely playing the philanthropic hero. Jonas jots notes. When Candace finishes her overview, Hector gestures with a carefully measured smile. "All sounds fantastic. I'd like to see some success stories. If we align, I can easily channel, let's say $50,000 to start." Candace's eyes widen. That's a huge donation for us. She glances at me. We can't hide the fact this sum would transform many programs. I wait, letting a silence build. Then calmly I say, "That's very generous, Mr. Vidal. May I ask what prompted you to reach out here specifically?" He flicks his gaze at me. "A little bird told me about the wonderful counselor who integrates music into therapy. Thought it matched my passion for fostering new talent." Anger flares in my gut. He's referencing Riley's tip-off. But I keep a neutral face. "We'd be grateful, of course, but we also want to ensure that any sponsor truly shares our values, transparency, integrity." Jonas slides me a quick glance. Hector's eyes narrow slightly, but he recovers. "Of course. I'm all about integrity." I flash a small, knowing smile. "That's excellent to hear. Perhaps we can schedule a follow-up. Meanwhile, Jonas here can handle the legal side." Hector stands, adjusting his cufflinks. "Indeed. Let's finalize details soon. I look forward to working closely with you all." He shakes Candace's hand warmly, nods at Jonas, then turns to me last. I meet his handshake, tightening my grip a fraction. "Pleasure," I say quietly. He departs, leaving a faint hush in the room. Jonas exhales. Candace's face is a mix of excitement and caution. "That money could do wonders," she murmurs. I nod slowly. "Yes, it could." But in my head, the wheels are turning. I can orchestrate a scenario where Hector invests publicly, ties his name to us, and then I unleash the scandal at the worst possible moment for him and Riley. Chapter 5. I jolt awake to my phone vibrating against the nightstand. The clock reads 4:58 a.m. My mind immediately flashes to that adrenaline-laced stakeout a couple nights ago, Riley sneaking off, me trailing behind. Now on the screen, Jonas's name appears, way too early for a casual call. "Jonas?" I rasp, half sitting. My muscles are sore from a restless night. He sounds alert. Maybe he hasn't slept. "Chase, sorry to wake you. Got something you need to hear." I pinch the bridge of my nose. My entire body tenses. "Go ahead." "Well, after yesterday's meeting with Hector, I started looking deeper into his finances. My contact at the bank flagged some suspicious transactions." Jonas's voice is measured, but it vibrates with suppressed excitement. "Multiple discrete withdrawals, funneling money under shell company names, possibly hush payouts. The amounts are big, I stare at the sliver of dawn creeping across the bedroom wall. So definitely not squeaky clean. Means we can corner him on more than just the affair. Exactly. If you want to leverage it, we can approach him with a subtle message. We know your secrets. Back off or get ruined. But that approach might spook him into doubling down or fleeing. I swing my legs off the bed, Riley's still asleep behind me, facing the wall. I want something more punishing, something that ensures he and Riley pay for this. Jonas exhales. All right. Keep playing along with his sponsor act. I'll keep investigating. Meanwhile, you gather every bit of personal evidence you can, especially about them planning that studio apartment or the upcoming lounge events. We might catch them in a major lie that lines up with the financial shady stuff. Got it, I murmur. I appreciate this, Jonas. Yeah. Well, you deserve better than being blindsided by these creeps. By the way, how's your wife's attitude since the sponsor meeting? I glance over my shoulder at her sleeping form. Quiet. She's trying to act normal, but I can see she's unsettled. She must know I sense something. Jonas hums. Then we stay the course. I'll push for more details from my contacts. Just keep me posted. We hang up. I toss the phone aside, a heaviness settling on my chest. My mind churns with the possibilities. This battle is no longer just about a cheating wife. It's about disassembling the entire tower Hector built around illusions of wealth and philanthropy. I want to be sure they both fall, and fall hard. By the time 7 a.m. hits, I'm in the kitchen, pouring coffee, going through the motions. Riley finally emerges, hair tousled, wearing a simple robe. She rubs her eyes as if she's the only one who's had a rough night. Coffee for me? She asks softly, as though we're still in some normal routine. I set down my mug, not replying right away. I grab a second mug, fill it, hand it to her. She catches my eye fleetingly. Thanks. I remain silent. The tension is thick enough to slice with a knife. She clears her throat. So, you were up early? Anything on your mind? I let a beat pass, scanning her expression. She's guarded. Just some calls with Jonas prepping for a possible big sponsor influx. You might have heard of him. Hector Vidal. She grips the mug, knuckles white. Ah, right. The guy from the meeting. He seemed impressive. I want to laugh in her face, but I keep my tone even. Yes, very impressive. I'm sure you'd know. She flinches but recovers quickly. Instead of pushing further, I pivot. So what's your day look like? She shrugs. I'm heading to the venue. Some clients are in town. Could be a late night. No trace of guilt crosses her features. I bite my tongue. Let her believe I'm still clueless enough to let that pass. But inside, I'm simmering. Safe travels, I say flatly. She sips her coffee, eyes drifting off. I watch as if from a distance. The woman who once sparked my every sense, now a cunning manipulator. It's amazing how betrayal warps your perception of a person. I arrive at the community center a little before 9, immediately running into Desiree hauling a battered keyboard onto the small performance stage. Her face lights up with relief when she sees me. Thank God Chase helped me with this stand. We have the mini concert for the kids in an hour. I set my bag down and grab the metal legs, helping her lock them in place. Mini concert? Yeah. Candace scheduled it. She said it might be nice to have a quick midday performance for a handful of donors dropping by. I guess to show them what we do here. I arch an eyebrow. Donors dropping by might be a sign Candace is courting new avenues, especially after Hector's big talk. Sure, I'll jump in if you need. Guitar, maybe? Desiree beams. That'd be great. I'm a little nervous. My singing's fine, but I'd love a second instrument up here. We set up the stage in the modest rec room. A couple of microphones, a portable amp, the keyboard, a second mic for my guitar. Kids trickle in, curious. Some staffers arrange folding chairs. The vibe is casual, just a demonstration of music therapy turned into a mini-show. At 10 a.m., Candace ushers in a few older folks in business attire, likely local donors or philanthropic reps. Among them, I spot a woman in a navy suit scanning the room with a polite smile. Another man with a flashy tie types notes on his phone. They greet Candace, who's all smiles. Desiree and I stand on stage, testing mic levels. The small group of kids hush in the front row, though you can tell they're excited. Candace gestures for us to begin. I lean into the mic. Morning, everyone. I'm Chase, a youth counselor here, and this is Desiree, who's volunteering with music performance. We wanted to give a quick glimpse of how music helps our kids cope, heal, and grow. Desiree nods, strumming a few gentle chords on the keyboard. We do simple sing-alongs, let them express themselves, and hopefully encourage creativity. We launch into a soft, uplifting tune. The kids clap along. It's a fleeting moment of warmth in a life that's otherwise overshadowed by my personal vendetta. But as I sing, I realize part of me still believes in the goodness of what we do here. That hasn't been tainted. After the short set, the donors applaud. A couple of them talk to Candace about donation processes. I catch phrases like, "We'll see how our budget allows," or "We do love an arts and education approach." It's typical philanthropic speak, but hopefully beneficial for the center. One older gentleman, Mr. Parson, approaches the stage, smiling kindly. "Chase, that was beautiful. How long have you integrated music therapy here?" "Couple of years now," I reply, stepping down. "It's been a passion of mine seeing how music breaks down walls for these kids." He nods, thoughtful. "Well, you're doing a fine job. Keep it up." Then he shakes my hand and wanders off. Candace, finishing her conversation with the others, comes to us, cheeks flushed with optimism. "I think that went well. They're not dropping a fortune, but every bit helps." Desiree chimes. "See, more people need to see the center's value. We might get bigger donors soon." Candace flicks a look at me. We both know who that bigger donor might be. She arches an eyebrow, half laughing. "Or maybe we'll get an even bigger fish eventually." After the impromptu concert, I slip away to my office. Jonas said he'd drop by around noon. I settle in, scanning my phone's tracker app for a second. Riley's car location is downtown near the music venue. No surprise. A knock at the door. Jonas strides in, leaning on the frame. "Heard you gave a performance." "Yeah, small one." I wave him in. "So, what's the latest?" Jonas sits, crossing his ankle over a knee. I dug deeper into those shell companies Hector's using. They're definitely used for funneling hush money. Plus, there's at least one lawsuit from a few years back accusing him of offering exploitative contracts to young female singers. He hands me a folder. Inside are printouts. Legal complaints. Non-disclosure settlements. My stomach churns as I read. "So he's a predator," I mutter. "Essentially, if you want to blow him up, we can. But we might want to wait until his involvement with the center is more public. That way, the scandal hits hardest." I nod slowly. Exactly. Let him get comfortable, let the world see him as our sponsor, then reveal the skeletons. He'll be forced to pull out, or we do it for him. Either way, his reputation tanks. Jonas smirks. "Revenge, well orchestrated. But watch yourself, Riley might get caught in the crossfire." "That's the idea," I say, voice ice cold. "She's part of this, Jonas. She's not a victim here. She's lying to me, actively sleeping with him, planning a future with him. Let them both share the fallout." We decide on a plan. Next time Hector appears at the center or we have a bigger donor event, we'll push a public angle, maybe an official press release about local entertainment mogul invests in youth. Then, we time the leak of his fraudulent finances and sexual exploitation charges, possibly courtesy of a sympathetic journalist Jonas knows. In the midst of that swirl, I can also release the evidence of the affair if needed. Maybe at the right moment, so it's not overshadowed. Jonas and I part ways after a final handshake. The satisfaction buzzes in my veins. This is the slow knife method. Each step draws them deeper until they can't escape. Afternoon counseling sessions distract me from obsessing. I talk with a teenage girl named Colleen who's struggling with an abusive stepfather. The heartbreak in her eyes resonates with me. Betrayal by someone close is a universal wound, but I channel my personal rage into a more supportive stance for her, reminding myself that my personal battles shouldn't overshadow my work. By 5 p.m., the center is quiet again. I stand in the hallway reflecting on how chaotic my inner life is. Then Desiree calls my name from the break room, her voice echoing. I walk over. She's leaning against a counter, flipping a water bottle in her hands. "Chase," she starts quietly. "I know it's none of my business, but do you want to talk about your wife? I keep seeing that storm behind your eyes." I consider deflecting, but she's proven loyal. "I found out she's having an affair with Hector Vidal." Desiree's mouth drops slightly. "That sponsor guy? Jesus." She rubs her temples. "I had a gut feeling he was bad news. But wow. I'm so sorry." I hold up a hand. "Don't be. I'm not the helpless spouse. I'm handling it." "Handling it how?" "Let's just say I'm not letting them get away with it," I murmur, voice steely. "Jonas and I have a plan. We'll unravel his facade. I want him humiliated, and if she's along for that ride, so be it." Desiree frowns. That's intense. But I get it. A brief silence. She touches my arm gently. "I understand betrayal. My ex-manager tried to sabotage my career, took my money. It pushed me into some dark thoughts. But if you need me for anything, I'm in." I nod, feeling a surge of gratitude. "Thanks. Let's keep that between us. I'd rather not broadcast this." Her eyes flash determination. "Of course. But watch your back, okay? People like Hector can be vicious." I exhale. "I know, but I'm not exactly a pushover either." When I get home at 7, Riley's in the kitchen, rummaging in the fridge, phone pressed to her ear. She tosses me a glance, then continues talking quietly. "Yes, I can confirm the date." "Let me get back to you with the final head count." She ends the call, sets the phone down, attempts a breezy smile. "Hey, you want dinner? I'm making a quick stir-fry." Her tone is so normal, it's jarring. "Sure," I reply, forcing neutrality. "I'll help." We chop vegetables side by side like we did in simpler times, but the atmosphere is loaded. At one point, her phone buzzes on the counter. She snatches it quickly, angles it away from my view. That's how far we've fallen. No trust. Just secrets. Midway through cooking, she sighs. "Chase, can we talk about something?" I still my chopping. "What is it?" She chews her lip. We've been distant. I know it. I don't want us to resent each other. Is there a way we can reconnect?" A swirl of conflicting emotions nearly paralyzes me. Reconnect? Now, after I've seen her in the arms of another man? She's likely just worried that I'm on to her. But I maintain a poker face. "Sure, we can try. How do you propose we do that?" She sets down a spatula. "Maybe a weekend away. Just us, a cabin or something." A weekend away is the last thing I want, but playing along might keep her unsuspecting. "Yeah, maybe," I say slowly. "Let's see how our schedules align." Relief flickers across her face. She returns to cooking. I stare at the back of her head, marveling at her audacity. But if she thinks I'll just blindly buy into her attempts at normalcy, she's in for a shock. Over dinner, I mention that Hector will likely come by again soon to discuss the potential donation. I watch her reaction carefully. She tenses, then forces calm. "Oh, that's nice. I'm sure the center could use the money." I nod. "Yes, he's quite a big shot. Surprised you never told me you knew him better." My words carry an undercurrent of accusation. She shrugs a bit too quickly. "I mean, I organize events. We cross paths. It's not that deep." I spear a piece of chicken with my fork, swirling it in sauce. "Not that deep, sure." I hide my derision, shifting the topic. "So how's the venue? Busy season?" She brightens, rambling about new shows and corporate clients. I let her talk, letting her believe she's smoothly redirecting. Inside, I'm storing every detail that might confirm or contradict her lies. Night falls, and for once we both lie in bed at a normal hour. She dozes off first, or pretends to. I lie there, mind flicking through scenarios of how to tighten the noose around them. Jonas's plan, Desiree's willingness to help, the kids at the center's upcoming events, there are many moving parts. I picture a culminating moment when Hector stands proud, thinking his donation cements his reputation. A press presence, perhaps. Then, boom, the revelations. Fraudulent finances, hush money to young women, and an affair with a married event coordinator. The avalanche of shame. Riley's name forcibly tied to that scandal, her ambitions crumbling. I allow myself a grim half-smile in the dark. I hate that it's come to this. But betrayal begets consequences. I drift to sleep with only one thought. They started this war, but I'll finish it. Chapter 6. Early morning, I rouse with an unexpected text from Candace. Came in early, found a letter from Vidal's reps. He wants a formal meeting tomorrow with more staff present, public vibe. Seems he wants to finalize an initial donation. I stare at the text, adrenaline flooding my system. Perfect. This is the next step. I reply. Great. Let's do it. 10 a.m.? She confirms. I glance at the bed. Riley's side is empty, a faint impression in the sheets. She must have left at dawn. Fine. It gives me space to plan. At the center, I gather with Candace and Jonas. We stand in my office, door closed. Jonas reads the letter over. He's offering an official check of $25,000 as a start, with a potential to double that if the partnership goes well. He's pushing for a small event with a local press mention, presumably to glean good PR for himself. Candace frowns. Doesn't that help us, though? The money's huge. The exposure is huge. I hate to turn it down. I place a comforting hand on her shoulder. We'll accept it. That's part of the plan. Let him publicly align with us. Then once that's out in the open, we release the destructive evidence. I lock eyes with Jonas, and he nods grimly. Candace's lips purse. I don't like shady conflict, but if he's as bad as you two say, we can't let him exploit us either. Jonas taps the letter. We'll handle this carefully. Let him do his press moment. Then we choose the perfect time to blow the whistle. Desiree pops by after hearing the rumor. So, big donation from Hector? Her voice drips with skepticism. I confirm the details. She glances at Jonas, then me. I can maybe tip off one of my friends who works for a local paper, the Colorado Sun-Chronicle. She's a junior reporter, hungry for a scoop. Jonas lights up. That's perfect. We can feed her the story once Hector's donation is official. She can start investigating his background so it's not even coming directly from us. I give Desiree a grateful nod. Yes, do it. Let's get that ball rolling discreetly. She smiles with a hint of resolve. Consider it done. I'll talk to her tonight. That afternoon, In the midst of setting up chairs for tomorrow's meeting, my phone buzzes. Riley's name. Strange, she rarely calls me from work. I step away, answer quietly. "Hey," I say, trying for neutrality. "Chase?" Her voice wavers. We need to talk about something. Tonight? Can you come by the venue? My shift ends at 8 and I'll have about an hour free." Alarm flickers. "Why not talk at home?" She hesitates. "I just prefer you see a bit of my world here." "Maybe. And we can talk in the lounge when it's quiet." "Please." Curiosity and suspicion swirl in me. Maybe she's feeling me out about the donation or about something Hector told her. "All right. I'll come by at 8. After a day of routine counseling tasks, I drive to the Elton Grand music venue around 7:50 p.m. The neon sign flickers in an artful swirl out front. High-end cars line the curb. My heart thrums with uneasy tension. Inside, the lounge area is plush. Dim lighting, sleek tables, a small stage for jazz combos. I see a few well-dressed patrons sipping cocktails. Riley stands near the bar, scanning a clipboard. She spots me and waves me over. She's wearing a form-fitting black dress, professional yet alluring. Another pang of betrayal hits me. This is the environment where she cozies up to Hector, presumably. She motions me toward a corner booth. "Thanks for coming," she says, sliding in across from me. "You want a drink?" I shake my head. "I'm fine." My eyes roam the venue. "So? What's on your mind?" She fiddles with the edge of the clipboard. "We've been so tense. I think we need to lay everything out. I know you suspect me of something. You keep giving me these strange looks." My breath hitches. Lay everything out? Is she about to confess? "Go on," I say carefully. She inhales, gaze flicking around to ensure no eavesdroppers. "I've been working closely with a big investor named Hector." I stiffen, but keep silent, letting her continue. She swallows. "He's been pushing to expand my role, offering me connections in Denver. And yes, I've spent time with him outside normal hours. But I swear it's about career growth. There's no romantic angle." A laugh almost escapes me, but I clamp it down. She's lying to my face. "Really? Then how do you explain all those nights you were out until 2 a.m.? She offers a small, practiced frown. "Late dinners, networking. He's not the easiest to schedule. Look, I know it looks suspicious, but you have to trust me." I lean forward, searching her eyes for any crack in her facade. "Trust, huh? Then tell me, have you ever been alone with him at a hotel or a residence?" Her eyes flick away. "Only for event checks. Sometimes we meet at his condo to look over sponsor documents." The nerve. And how do you think I feel about that, given how often it happens? She reaches for my hand, a bold move. I get it, but I promise there's nothing beyond a professional relationship. "I'm sorry I've been distant. I was worried you wouldn't understand the demands of this job." Anger pulses in my veins. I free my hand from her grasp. "You're telling me there's zero personal involvement with Hector?" She nods, eyes glistening with a well-rehearsed sorrow. "None. I'm just trying to build my career. If it bothered you, you should have told me earlier." My mind reels. She's doubling down on the lie. Fine. Let her. I keep my voice steady. "All right. I'll keep that in mind." She forces a tight smile. "Thank you. Let's try to be more open going forward. No more silent resentment." She glances at her phone, shifting the subject. "I have to get back to the staff soon, but I appreciate you coming." I stand, the booth squeaking under me. "We can talk more at home, yeah?" She nods, leaning in to peck my cheek. I let her, feeling revulsion beneath my calm exterior. "Thanks," she whispers. Then she's off, striding toward a manager by the bar. I exit the lounge, the bass hum of background music pounding in my ears. She's a consummate liar, brazen, unshaken. It only strengthens my resolve. The reveal must be devastating. At 10 p.m., I'm back in my apartment. She's not home yet, probably finishing her shift or hooking up with him. I practically tremble with contained rage. I log onto my laptop, recheck the chat logs, the pictures. The memory of that conversation in the lounge stings. There's no romantic angle. I email Jonas the updates. She's lying, even face-to-face. I'm in for the final kill. He replies swiftly, "Understood. Tomorrow's meeting with Hector is step 1. I try to distract myself by reading a few case files, but my eyes keep drifting to the clock. Midnight then, 1 a.m. No sign of her. I eventually drift off on the couch. Morning cracks open, and I'm jolted by my alarm. 8 a.m. My back aches from the couch. No sign of Riley. Possibly she never came home. Or she's quietly in the bedroom. I don't care to check. At the center by 9, Jonas is waiting, sipping coffee in the front lobby. He's got a neat stack of papers. These are backgrounders for Candace. She'll be armed with positive talking points in case Hector tries to overshadow the meeting. I nod, adrenaline spiking. The official meeting is at 10, in the same conference room. We'll have some staffers present, maybe a local beat reporter from a small community paper. Hector's orchestrating a mild PR moment, perfect breeding ground for infiltration. Shortly before 10, Candace gathers me, Jonas, Desiree, and a couple other staffers in the conference room. She sets out some light refreshments, coffee, water, pastries. He should be here any minute. Everyone, we're going to politely accept his donation, talk up our programs, then get a photo or two, right? We nod. Desiree stands off to the side, arms crossed, eyes flicking to me with quiet support. Jonas is scanning the corridor. Then, right on cue, Hector arrives, flanked by a pair of well-dressed assistants. They stride in like they own the place. He spots me and offers a broad grin, which I return with carefully measured politeness. Hector claps his hands together. Good morning, folks. Thrilled to be here again. I brought along my colleagues, Martina and George. They help coordinate philanthropic outreach on my behalf. Candace steps forward. Welcome, Mr. Vidal. We appreciate your continued interest. He scans the room, spots Desiree. And you are? She meets his gaze steadily. Desiree, a volunteer music instructor. Her tone is flat. He nods, dismissively turning back to me. Chase, good to see you again. Let's talk about how we can finalize this check. Also, I have a short press release we might share with local media about my involvement here. Good PR for the center, yes? My stomach twists. Yes, that's our hope. He chuckles, handing me a typed statement. I skim it. Flamboyant language praising the center's invaluable services, referencing how music counselor Chase Morrison exemplifies the spirit of youth empowerment, and how Vidal Entertainment is proud to stand by him. The gall. But this is precisely the rope he's handing us to hang him with. We proceed with half an hour of polite discussion. Jonas feigns interest in a timeline for increased sponsorship, while Candace peppers him with success stories. Hector basks in it, his assistants scribbling notes. Desiree remains silent, arms folded in a corner, occasionally offering a tight-lipped smile. Finally, Hector withdraws a fancy check from a sleek leather folder. He slides it across the table. $25,000 to Colorado Springs Youth Community Center. Everyone glances at me, then at Candace, who tries not to appear too eager. She picks it up with a gracious smile. This is incredibly generous. Thank you. Hector leans back in his chair, crossing one leg over the other. We'll have a small mention in local press. I'll want quotes from you, Ms. Reed, and from you, Mr. Morrison. Just, praising the synergy here. I allow a careful nod. We can do that. I'm certain it will highlight how your generosity helps the kids. Inside, I seethe at how he's painting himself as a benevolent hero. He stands. All right, let's grab a quick photo. Martina, snap a couple shots. Martina, a businesslike woman, pulls out a camera phone. We gather near a blank wall. Hector stands center, Candace on one side, me on the other, the check visible between us. Desiree remains off to the side, watching with an expression that suggests she'd rather burn the entire scene down. Martina snaps multiple photos, Hector wearing a polished grin. My smile is mild, not to appear suspicious. Jonas stands behind, hand clasped, expression neutral. Then it's done. Hector pockets the check's deposit slip, reminding Candace to deposit soon, and announces he's off to another engagement. After he departs with his assistants, the room feels charged with tension. Candace exhales, holding the check like it's a delicate artifact. Jonas breaks the silence. Well, that's that. He's locked in. Desiree steps forward, voice thick with disdain. Now we can bury him, right? I meet her gaze, then glance at Jonas. Yes, but let's ensure the initial press release goes out, so it's public knowledge that he donated. Then we feed your reporter friend all the incriminating details. Candace looks conflicted but sets her jaw. I trust your judgment, though this is heavier than what I signed up for. Just make sure the center doesn't get trashed in the process. Jonas pats her shoulder. We'll handle it carefully. We want the negative press to target him and his manipulations, not the center's acceptance of funds in good faith. I add quietly, let them see we're the good guys who were open to a sponsor only to discover his corruption. We come out sympathetic. Desiree crosses her arms, nodding once. All right, let's do it. I'll contact my friend at the Colorado Sun Chronicle tonight. The day ends on a tense but triumphant note. My phone, however, remains eerily quiet from Riley. Maybe she's busy. Or maybe Hector filled her in on how he just handed us $25K. The storm is building. Chapter 7. That evening at home, I beat Riley there by a half hour. I deposit the leftover Chinese takeout on the kitchen table. My mind's ablaze with how the morning meeting went. Hector is now officially tied to the center, a donation documented with photos. Perfect. Around 8 p.m., Riley strolls in, a mild flush on her cheeks like she's been power walking. She sees me in the living room halfway watching TV. Hey, she says, setting her purse on the couch. You hungry? I could whip something up. I gesture to the takeout. Already got dinner sorted. You can have some if you want. She glances, nods. Thanks. She heads to the kitchen, rummaging for a plate. After a moment, she calls out, So I heard Hector drop by the center today? I straighten, so she's heard. Yes, he made a big donation. We had a small press moment. She returns, plate in hand, eyebrows raised. He texted me about it, said it went great. He's quite the philanthropist. The nerve. Seems so, I say dryly. He's obviously got a lot of money to throw around. Must be nice to be his friend. She catches the edge in my voice. Her lips press together. You're still suspicious, aren't you? I shrug. Should I be? She exhales, setting her plate down. Chase, I told you there's nothing romantic. He's just good at forging partnerships. I let a beat pass, meeting her gaze. Then we have no problem, right? She hesitates, then forces a tight smile. Right. She busies herself with microwaving the food, effectively ending the conversation. Inside, I seethe. She's lying so blatantly. But part of me relishes how soon everything will unravel for her. After dinner, she claims she has to finalize some event schedules, locking herself in the bedroom with her laptop. I remain in the living room, phone in hand, texting Jonas about the next step. Jonas, that journalist you trust? When do we leak the first wave? He replies, Desiree said her friend will poke around discreetly, might contact me or you for confirmation next week. We want to time it with more public coverage of the donation, possibly in a few days. A grin tugs at my lips. Perfect. I scroll the tracker app. Her car is parked at our complex, obviously. But I recall the time she leaves after midnight. If she does that again, I'll be ready. For now, the tension in the house is enough. Morning dawns with a new swirl of drama. Candace texts me that a local community blog posted a snippet about Hector's donation, praising his generosity. She's uneasy because she got an email from Hector's assistant, Martina, wanting to coordinate a bigger press conference. I ring Candace from my car en route to the center. Look, that might be exactly what we need. A bigger conference means more coverage. More coverage means a bigger fall when everything's exposed. She sighs. All right, I'll stall them a bit. Say we're working out scheduling, but it's likely next week. That's fine. Next week works for us. We hang up. My stomach flips with anticipation. Next week might be the crescendo. At the center, I join the kids for a morning workshop. Desiree's at the helm, strumming a lively tune on guitar, guiding them to create silly lyrics. I slip in quietly, watch how the kids giggle, how music lifts them. This used to make me feel so whole. Now part of me is overshadowed by the swirling revenge plot. When we finish, Desiree corners me. I texted my reporter friend. She's definitely interested. She'll wait for my signal to dig deeper. Maybe show up at any event you guys plan with Hector. I murmur. Great. That press conference next week could be the perfect storm. Make sure your friend is on the guest list. Desiree nods, eyes glittering. She lowers her voice. How are you holding up? Must be tough playing the nice guy with Riley while you know the truth. A bitter laugh escapes me. It's beyond tough. But every day that passes, I'm more resolved. The moment she's publicly tied to his scandal, the deeper she'll sink. And I won't feel guilty about it. Desiree places a hand gently on my arm. Just promise me you'll stay safe, okay? People like Hector can lash out if cornered. I nod. I'll be careful. That afternoon, Jonas arrives with more intel on Hector's lawsuits. We meet in my office with the door locked. He flips open a file. So, there's a pattern. Young female singers, hush money, short-lived mentorship deals. None have fully pressed charges beyond the civil suits, but the public fiasco could be massive if it's all revealed. I read through the lines, shaking my head. He's a serial manipulator. He found a new target in Riley, but she's too self-centered to see she's just a pawn. Jonas exhales. We can let it all out through Desiree's reporter friend, plus we can anonymously tip bigger outlets if needed. The key is timing. Maybe the day of the press conference or the evening prior so it all explodes on stage. I rub my temples. Yes. Then, the meltdown is unstoppable. That's what I want. Unstoppable meltdown. He offers a half smile. You sound more like a spy master than the gentle counselor I used to know. A flicker of sadness. I used to be that gentle counselor, but people adapt to betrayal. Jonas nods solemnly, and we drop the topic. Close to 5 p.m., Riley texts. Working late again. Don't wait. I check the tracker. Her car is still at the venue. The day passes, the center empties. I decide to swing by the venue for a second time unannounced. See if she's actually there or if she's heading to meet Hector. Around 7 p.m., I pull into a side street near the venue. Her tracker dot remains inside. I park discreetly, walk in. The bar area is bustling. I scan for her. She's at a far corner table with a cluster of suits, likely sponsors or event planners. She's flipping through a binder, pointing at documents. Hector is nowhere in sight. Maybe it's a legit meeting. One guy cracks a joke. They laugh politely. She spots me, briefly startled. I don't go over. Instead, I linger by the bar, order a soda, watch from a distance. She looks tense but tries to refocus on her group. After about 15 minutes, they wrap up. The suits disperse. She stands, making eye contact with me. I approach slowly. Her brow furrows. "Chase? Why are you here?" "Wanted to see if you really were working," I say pointedly, tone mild but with an undercurrent. She frowns. "That's controlling. I told you I had a meeting." I shrug. "Sue me for curiosity. I saw your text about not coming home early." She folds her arms. "Look, I get you're suspicious, but this is purely professional." I hold her gaze. "Where's Hector tonight?" She stiffens. "He's in Denver, I believe." I hum non-committally. "All right. So, done for the night?" She glances around. People watch us. "I have a few more details to finalize. Then yes, I'll come home. Please, let's not do this here." I nod, stepping back. "Sure, I'll see you at home. Don't stay too late." She sighs, shoulders slumping. I walk out, mind churning. She's on edge. Good. The pressure builds. At home by 9, I slump on the couch, flipping the TV channels mindlessly. Hours tick by. Midnight approaches, still no sign of her. Tracker says she's still at the venue. My phone remains silent. Finally, 1 a.m. hits. The dot moves, traveling north. Denver direction again. I grit my teeth, pulling up the app to see it's heading straight for the usual high-rise. So that meeting was a front or ended in time for her to meet him. Perfect. Let her dig the hole deeper. I get an idea. I ring Jonas, half expecting him to be asleep. He answers groggily. "Chase, everything okay?" "She's heading to Hector's again, middle of the night. I'm going to see if we can gather more direct photographic proof." Jonas mumbles. "Careful. You might be spotted. But if you do, get something undeniable." "Will do." I hang up, adrenaline pumping. I slip on a jacket, rush out. The drive is tense and quiet, my headlights slicing through darkness on the interstate. I keep an eye on the tracker, which confirms she's nearly there. I arrive maybe 15 minutes behind. Parking a block away, I walk stealthily, hugging building shadows. The city's hush is broken by the occasional passing car or distant siren. Wellington Heights, the same building, looms up. I see a familiar car in the small side lot, hers. The doorman stands under a soft golden light, half bored. No sign of them outside. I position myself behind a line of tall shrubbery across the street, vantage on the entrance. If they come out, I can snap more photos. My heart thuds. This is the price of betrayal, sneaking around like a detective in the night. But I'm fueled by a grim purpose. At around 2:15 a.m., the door slides open. Hector steps out, phone in hand. He motions behind him. Then Riley emerges. They stand in the glow of the overhead light, talking quietly. She touches his arm intimately. My anger pulses, but I keep the camera phone raised, snapping a flurry of pictures. They exchange a brief kiss. Then he hands her some folded papers. Could be checks, documents, or who knows. She tucks them in her purse. Another stolen kiss. My chest tightens, but I remain silent, capturing everything. He returns inside. She heads to her car, glancing around. I duck lower in the shrubs. She doesn't see me. She gets in, starts the engine, and drives off, presumably heading back to Colorado Springs. I exhale, stepping out onto the sidewalk. Check the pictures on my phone, grainy but quite recognizable. More damning evidence. Perfect for the final reveal. By the time I'm home, it's nearly 3:30 a.m. I slip inside quietly, see her shoes by the door. She must have beaten me by a good 20 minutes. Treading softly to the bedroom, I peek in. She's under the covers, presumably asleep or pretending. I watch her silhouette in the faint moonlight. So twisted to share a home with someone so blatantly deceiving me. Quietly, I grab my laptop in the living room, upload the fresh images to a secure folder, label them with date, time stamps. My phone buzzes with a text from Jonas. "All good?" I reply. "Yes, got new pictures, even more explicit. She's basically meeting him at 2 a.m. for who knows what." Jonas responds with a thumbs-up emoji. "We're set." The arsenal grows. At 7 a.m., I groggily wake on the couch again, my laptop still open. Riley emerges from the bedroom in a robe, hair messy, eyes puffy. She notices the open laptop with pictures on the screen. I've minimized them, but I freeze momentarily. She arches an eyebrow. "Couldn't sleep in bed?" she asks, covering a yawn. "No. Tired. I ended up doing some work." She narrows her gaze, but doesn't pry further. "I'm heading to the venue early, another full day." She walks closer. "Chase about last night, sorry I got home so late. That meeting ran long." I fight a scoff. "It's fine. You do what you have to do." She lingers, maybe seeking a hint of confrontation. I give none. Finally, she shrugs and shuffles away to get dressed. My mind screams, "Your lies are going to drown you." But I remain silent. Soon, we'll let the bombs drop. Chapter 8. The next few days pass in a tense holding pattern. Candace confirms that Hector's assistant Martina wants a big press conference next Tuesday morning, less than a week away. Perfect. Jonas finalizes a plan. The day before the conference, we slip Desiree's reporter friend the motherlode of documents, photos, hush money evidence, and the personal affair angles. We want the article or at least a web piece to break the night before, so by Tuesday morning, it's front page buzz. Hector arrives expecting a triumphant event. Instead, he walks into a swirling scandal. I share the plan with Desiree in my office, door shut. "You sure your friend can handle a story that big?" She nods. She's hungry for it. She's been building a reputation for investigative reporting. This could launch her career. I grin, a grim satisfaction fueling me. Then let's do it. Meanwhile, life with Riley is a weird charade. She continues her late nights, her doublespeak. She's suspicious of my calmness, but can't pin anything on me. Sometimes she tries to make nice, cooking dinner or suggesting we watch a movie. I indulge her occasionally, never letting on I know of her rendezvous with Hector. One night, she attempts intimacy, which I rebuff, claiming exhaustion. She looks hurt, but says nothing. I inwardly seethe, my mind filled with images of her in his arms. No way. On Friday, Jonas calls me early. "Chase, more developments. My contact found a string of transactions that tie Hector to shell companies that produce phony event receipts. He might use them to launder money. If we put that out, it's borderline criminal territory, not just moral scandal." My heart skips. So we can bury him deeper? Potentially, but we have to ensure no blowback hits the center. Right now, we can claim we didn't know. We accepted his donation in good faith. I smirk. Exactly. That's how we maintain innocence. Meanwhile, he looks like a fraud. Jonas lowers his voice. "And your wife, well, that'll come out as well." "Or do you want to keep her name out?" A cold ache in my chest. "She's part of it, Jonas. Let the chips fall where they may." Saturday, Desiree's friend, the reporter, Talia Reeves, calls me. She introduces herself politely, says Desiree gave her my number. I verify with Jonas that it's safe to talk. Then I spend half an hour on the phone, carefully leaking the details about Hector's alleged pattern of hush money, exploitation, referencing the lawsuit docs. I keep the part about my wife's involvement general, saying, "He's entangled with a married event coordinator intimately." Talia's intrigued. "Name?" I pause. For now, I'd keep it unnamed until it's absolutely verified, but it's real. I have photos if needed. She murmurs excitement. This is huge, bigger than local. Are you sure you want to reveal all? I glance out the window, heart pounding. Yes, this man is about to position himself as a philanthropic hero. The truth deserves to come out. Sunday arrives. The venue is closed during the day, so Riley claims she's using the time for errands. I watch the tracker. Sure enough, by midday, she's heading to Hector's place again. More evidence if I need it. I stay home, calmly reviewing documents, anticipating the meltdown. My phone pings with a message from Talia, gathering everything. Likely publish Monday night. Let's confirm details by tomorrow. I grin. Deal. Monday morning. The center is a swirl of final prep for tomorrow's big press conference. Candace is printing signs, organizing a short presentation. Jonas hovers, phone buzzing with calls. Desiree flutters around, anxious but resolute. No sign of Hector yet. He's probably busy finalizing the heroic angle. The plan. Talia publishes her expose late tonight around 10 p.m. That means by tomorrow at 9 a.m. the story is unstoppable. Candace corners me in the hallway. Chase, are we sure about this? We'll likely get questions about how we let a con man sponsor us. I rest a hand on her shoulder. We'll say we had no idea, that he approached us as a well-known investor. We found out too late. It's not our fault. She exhales, nodding. All right. Just let's keep the kids safe from the drama. Of course, I say. This fight is ours, not theirs. That evening, Talia calls. I'm finalizing the piece, calling it The Tarnished Mogul, Hector Vidal's Web of Secrets. I'll detail the hush money, the lawsuits, and the allegations of an ongoing affair with a married event coordinator in Colorado Springs. She hesitates. Are you sure about naming her? I pause. This is it. Do it. She's complicit. But if you only have circumstantial evidence, at least hint strongly. Photos show them intimately. She's married, works event coordination, enough for people to connect the dots. Talia murmurs in agreement. Yes, I have the pictures. They're damning enough, albeit a bit grainy. This will be big, Chase. I close my eyes. I appreciate it. Release it at 10 p.m. tonight, yes? On the dot, she affirms. Buckle up for the fallout. I devour the content. References to lawsuits, undisclosed settlements, suspicious shell companies, mention of a married female event coordinator from Colorado Springs. Talia doesn't mention the center's name directly, just states he's donated to local charities recently. She frames it as fresh philanthropic moves overshadowed by scandalous history. Beneath the article is a slideshow of partial documents, photos. The images of Hector, embracing a woman, face partially turned away but recognizable to me as Riley. My pulse spikes. This is real. It's out there. At 10:30, my phone lights up with Jonas's call. We did it, man. The story's already blowing up on social media. I see people sharing it on local Facebook groups. Tomorrow's press conference is going to be a nightmare for him. I step onto my balcony, the night breeze cooling my feverish excitement. Yeah, exactly what we planned. He chuckles low. I'm seeing comments. Always suspected something shady about him. Others are calling for a deeper investigation. We might see mainstream media pick it up soon. I grin, a weight lifting from my chest. This is the beginning of the end for them. We hang up. I lean against the railing, a swirl of triumph and heartbreak. For a moment, I recall the day I married Riley, my heart so full of hope. Now I orchestrate her downfall. A pang of sorrow hits, but it's overshadowed by the fresh memory of her brazen deceit. By 11:15, I check the tracker. She's driving home. My phone is on silent in case she calls. Let her face me in person. Sure enough, near midnight, she bursts through the door, face flushed. She stares at me, brandishing her phone. Chase, have you seen this article? About Hector? I feign ignorance. Article? Her eyes blaze. Don't lie to me. It's all over the local news feed. Some reporter exposed him for financial fraud, hush money, and apparently an affair with a married woman in Colorado Springs. She's practically shaking. I stand calmly. Yeah, I saw something about it. Surprising, right? She paces, slapping her phone into her palm. Hector's been calling me nonstop, freaking out. He says it's all lies. He wants me to publicly deny any personal involvement. Oh my God, this is insane. I cross my arms, arching an eyebrow. But wait, you told me there was no personal involvement. So you can deny it, right? She gapes, caught in her own web. Chase, you don't understand. They have photos of me at his condo. This reporter is smearing me as some homewrecker. I could lose my job. My voice is ice. So you are admitting the affair then? She flinches. No, I mean, look, it's complicated. He and I were maybe a bit too close, but not... I hold up a hand. Enough. The story is out. You can't spin it now. She stares at me, tears pooling in her eyes. Chase, you have to help me. Tell people it's false. Tell them it's a misunderstanding. A humorless laugh escapes me. Why would I do that? She looks stricken. Because I'm your wife. I made mistakes, but you're my husband. I need you to stand by me, rage surges. Stand by you? After you spent months lying, sneaking off to see him, don't you dare ask that. Tears slip down her cheeks. You don't know the pressure I've been under. He promised me everything, career moves, money. I interrupt, voice shaking with fury. You chose to cheat. You chose to degrade our marriage. Now you face the consequences. She collapses onto the couch, sobbing softly. I watch, arms rigid, no sympathy left. Tomorrow you might have to face a bigger meltdown if you show up for his press conference. Good luck. She buries her face in her hands. I turn away, heading to the bedroom. Let her stew in the ruin she created. Chapter 9. Morning sunlight streaks across the bedroom, harsh and unyielding. It's Tuesday, the day of Hector's grand press conference at the community center, and the first day after Talia's bombshell article. My eyes snap open, my heart already pounding as if I've sprinted a mile. Next to me, Riley lays curled on her side, covers pulled around her shoulders. She's not asleep, though. I can sense her tension in the cramped quiet. She stirs, sits up slowly, hair disheveled, eyes rimmed red from crying. She glances at me with a strange mix of desperation and pleading. Chase, she begins, voice husky. I barely slept. Hector's meltdown last night was intense. I slide to the edge of the bed, planting my feet on the floor. I can imagine. My tone is clipped. He's been exposed for what he is. She rubs her temples. He swears it's all lies, that the reporter is exaggerating, but I don't know. It looks so damning. And that mention about him with a married woman, everyone's suspecting me at the venue. My phone is exploding with messages. I bite back a bitter laugh. So you realize it's not just about him? People are connecting the dots, especially with all the rumors swirling. Why do you think that is, Riley? She buries her face in her hands, muffling a groan. I messed up, okay? I let things get out of hand. But this is monstrous. Welcome to consequences, I say coldly. You're heading to the center's press conference, I assume? She looks startled. I'm not sure if that's wise. If people suspect me, maybe I should stay away. I stand, pull on a shirt. Up to you. But Hector's planning to do a big public donation statement, right? We can't pretend he doesn't revolve around your event connections. I let that sting hang in the air. Of course, maybe you'd rather hide. Her expression twists with shame or fear, I can't tell which. I'm just scared how people will look at me. I'll be publicly Humiliated. I force a shrug. That's out of my hands. Then, more softly, if it's any comfort, I do plan to maintain the center's image. So if you come, keep your composure. Don't cause a scene. She blinks tears. You're so different now, Chase. So distant. I don't blame you, but stop, I mutter. We can talk about us later. Right now, I have to get to the center. There's a storm waiting. She nods, defeated. As I leave the bedroom, I feel a faint pang of what used to be sympathy. But it's crushed under the weight of all her lies. The day is just beginning, and I know it's going to be explosive. Downstairs, I grab a quick coffee, ignoring the gnawing tension in my gut. The drive to the community center feels surreal. The radio babbles about local news, referencing a major scandal involving Denver-based music mogul Hector Vidal. Snippets mention financial impropriety and alleged personal misconduct. They don't name the married woman, not yet. My grip tightens on the steering wheel. I arrive to find the parking lot more crowded than usual. There are a couple of local news vans, Channel 14, and a small online streaming setup. My stomach clenches. So, they're out in force. Candace stands by the entrance, conferring with staff in low voices. The second I step out of my car, she hurries over. Chase, it's bigger than I expected, she breathes, glancing at a reporter fiddling with a camera tripod. Hector's assistant, Martina, says he's still coming to do the press event, but they're running late. Probably damage control. I keep my face neutral. We'll be prepared. Where's Jonas? Candace gestures inside. He's in your office, on a call. Something about legal guidelines for speaking to press. I nod. Perfect. She lowers her voice. We also have a few parents inside worried about the kids being around so many cameras. I assured them the coverage is about Hector, not the children. But we might keep the kids in a separate wing to avoid chaos. That's smart, I agree. Let's keep them away from the meltdown. Candace's eyes flick anxiously. There's also the matter of the $25K check. We deposited it, but if this goes south, we might be forced to distance ourselves. We must not appear complicit. I offer a thin smile. Don't worry. We have the paper trail proving we accepted it in good faith. Inwardly, I can't help but relish how Hector's about to face the unstoppable wave. Inside, Jonas is pacing my cramped office, phone pressed to his ear. He spots me and nods. Yes, we'll keep statements minimal, he says to whoever's on the line. Then he ends the call. Hey, I begin. Looks like the press is here. Ready for the show? He exhales, tucking his phone away. I've got a colleague from the local bar association on standby in case Hector tries any legal angle. We're all set. Did you see Talia's follow-up post this morning? She teased more revelations if Hector denies wrongdoing. A smirk tugs at my mouth. That's exactly what we want. If he tries to bury the story, Talia will produce more. And the part about him with a married coordinator, everyone's suspecting it's Riley. By tonight, it'll be common knowledge. Jonas nods. And you're certain you want her name out there? My jaw tightens. She's chosen her side. This is the path she forged. I'm done shielding her. He studies me a moment, but says nothing further. At 9:30 a.m., the press conference is set to start at 10. Candace organizes a small podium in the center's foyer. A few of our staffers linger behind her, looking uneasy. I greet them calmly, offering nods and quiet reassurances. Desiree is around too, arms folded, face etched with curiosity and a bit of nerves. Chase, she murmurs. I saw Riley in the parking lot. She's sitting in her car, looking distraught. I glance out through the glass doors. Sure enough, I spot Riley's silhouette behind the driver's seat. She's not moving. Maybe she's building courage or waiting for Hector. Let her be, I say. She'll do what she must. Desiree sighs. This is rough, but I guess it's necessary. She then steps aside to greet a local reporter friend, presumably Talia, who's just arrived with a press badge. They share a quick handshake. Talia glances around, giving me a discreet nod. My heart thrums. She's here to watch the meltdown firsthand. Finally, at 9:50, a sleek black sedan pulls up. Hector emerges, flanked by Martina and another assistant. His face is set in a tight-lipped smile and obvious front. He's wearing a sharp navy suit, but stress lines mar his expression. The cameras click as a couple of reporters drift forward. He waves them off gently. "We'll speak inside, folks." I watch from near the reception desk as he strides in, scanning for me or Candace. He spots Candace first, offers a handshake, which she returns with forced politeness. "Mr. Vidal, welcome," she says with a professional smile. "We're ready whenever you are." He nods, voice low. "Yes, let's do a quick statement, keep it positive." Then, as his gaze flicks around, he spies me. A micro-expression of tension crosses his features. He approaches with an outstretched hand. "Chase, good to see you." I accept the handshake, applying a firm grip. "Morning, Mr. Vidal." His eyes are a bit wild, as though searching for hints that I'm behind the article. But I keep my composure neutral. "We appreciate your coming," I say mildly. He forces a short laugh. "Well, I wouldn't miss it. Despite some ridiculous allegations swirling." Then he leans closer, dropping his voice. "I trust you know these rumors about me are baseless, right?" I let the question hang. We'll see how the day unfolds. He frowns, but Martina tugs his sleeve, gesturing that it's time to begin. I step back, allowing him to proceed to the small podium we've set up in front of a community center banner. Jonas stands off to the side, arms crossed, watching intently. A half-dozen reporters cluster around. Local camera operators shuffle for the best angle. A hush settles as Candace clears her throat, stepping behind the podium. "Good morning," she begins, voice steady despite the tension. "I'm Candace Reed, administrative head of the Colorado Springs Youth Community Center. We're here today to formally recognize the generous donation from Mr. Hector Vidal." She motions to Hector, who takes her place behind the mic. Applause is lukewarm, smattered with the beep of digital cameras. Hector attempts a charismatic smile. "Thank you, Ms. Reed. And to all of you for being here. I've long believed in the power of music and education to transform young lives. That's why my company pledged an initial $25,000 donation, and we aim to grow that in the coming months." He glances around, meeting the gaze of each reporter. "Despite certain rumors that surfaced, I assure you, my commitment to philanthropic causes remains unwavering. Those allegations, referencing finances or personal impropriety, are simply sensationalist attempts to undermine me." I notice Talia, in the second row, pen scribbling furiously. Another reporter calls out, "Mr. Vidal, can you specifically address the hush money allegations from the article last night?" Hector's jaw tightens. "False," he states curtly. "I do not engage in hush money. I invest in legitimate business ventures and support rising artists. That is all." A second reporter pipes up, "What about claims of an affair with a married event coordinator? The article suggests this is an ongoing relationship." Hector's forced grin wavers. "Complete fabrication. I do business with numerous coordinators. None are personal partners." A small commotion at the back of the foyer draws my attention. Riley stands there, eyes darting. She's come inside. She's wearing a simple blouse and slacks, hair pinned back, looking more subdued than usual. Our gazes lock briefly. She's pale, trembling. Possibly she's here to see if Hector has her back, or if he'll throw her under the bus. Hector glances her way, momentarily losing his composure. It's subtle, but telling. A couple of cameras swivel, noticing her. Candace steps beside me, whispering, "Should I move her away?" I shake my head. No. Let's see how this plays out. Up front, a reporter continues pressing Hector. "Sir, can you deny knowledge of women who receive settlement payouts from your label's accounts? We have partial documents." Hector raises a hand. "I will not discuss details of my company's financial transactions at this time. My attorneys are reviewing. What I can say is that my philanthropic efforts here are genuine. The children of this center deserve better than rumor-mongering. Let's focus on them." He tries to pivot, scanning for an ally. Suddenly, Talia steps forward. "Mr. Vidal, given the explicit photos of you with a woman entering your condo late at night, how do you refute that? Are you saying the photos are doctored?" Beads of sweat form on Hector's temple. "Photos can be misleading. I host business associates at all hours. That doesn't equate to an affair. Let's move on." Riley, from the back, looks stricken. Her face says it all. He's disowning me. The crowd picks up on the tension. One reporter swivels. "Ms. Morrison, is that you? Are you the woman in question?" Riley recoils. I just... She glances at me, then at Hector. Fear grips her expression. She can't muster a clear denial. The entire foyer senses the drama. Cameras shift, capturing her panic. Hector sees the fiasco brewing. He snaps, "No further personal questions. My interest is purely charitable." He tries to wrap up. "I want to present this donation certificate again to Ms. Reed, reaffirming my support." He lifts a glossy plaque, handing it to Candace. She plasters a polite smile, accepting it. But the reporters are not satisfied. Shouts ring out. "Mr. Vidal, do you plan to sue the reporter for defamation?" Hector, "Is your rumored mistress actually Ms. Morrison?" "Ms. Morrison, do you deny an affair?" Riley stammers. "No, this is a misunderstanding." She steps forward, tears brimming. "I'm not his mistress. I never—" Hector tries to hush her, a frantic hush. "Stop. You're making it worse," he mutters under his breath. Chaos simmers, cameras flashing. I stand at the sidelines, arms crossed, heart hammering. This is the meltdown we orchestrated. Jonas, next to me, discreetly checks his phone. A small smile creeps on his lips. Maybe new revelations from Talia are dropping in real time. Suddenly, Desiree's reporter friend Talia calls out loudly, "Mr. Vidal, I've just received additional materials showing wire transfers from your label's accounts to personal accounts labeled RG and Household Partial Settlement 310. Can you explain these?" Hector's face goes ashen. Martina tries to intervene. "We're done here," she says firmly. "This press conference is concluded." But the reporters clamor. "What about the hush money details? Are you refusing to address them?" Hector attempts a baleful smile. "Yes, we're concluding. Thank you for coming. All of these allegations are false and will be addressed legally." He turns to Candace. "I apologize for the disruption, Ms. Reed. My donation stands. But clearly, some unscrupulous people want to tarnish everything." Candace, flustered, just nods. "Thank you, Mr. Vidal." He whips around, ignoring the reporters, marching toward the exit with Martina. On his way, he passes Riley, who stands trembling. Their eyes meet, an unspoken standoff. She reaches out as if to grab his arm. "Hector!" He jerks away. "Not now!" he hisses, face twisted with anger. She's left standing alone, tears trickling. The cameras snap that moment, capturing her heartbreak in real time. The press scrum surges, half chasing Hector out the door, half turning cameras back on Riley. She tries to sidestep them, muttering, "No comment," but they hound her with questions about the affair. She stumbles, nearly dropping her purse. I see Jonas discreetly stepping in, blocking a few photographers to give her a path out. I remain near the podium, letting the swirl of chaos swirl. Candace grips my arm, expression shell-shocked. Chase, this is madness. Are we going to survive this PR nightmare? I squeeze her hand reassuringly. We'll be fine. The public sees we were blindsided. Our children remain safe and out of sight. The donation is in our account. Hector is the one under fire. She exhales shakily. I hope you're right. I can't stand this media circus. Then she glances around. Where's Riley? I scan. She's vanished from the foyer, likely fled to the hallway or outside. My phone vibrates. A text from Desiree. Went after Riley, she's a wreck near the back entrance. I text back. I'm on my way. Candace and I separate. She goes to pacify staff while I weave through departing reporters. The air is thick with tension, the fiasco leaving a raw hush in the building. Chapter 10. I find Desiree near the back corridor, standing by a locked supply closet. Her expression is grim as she glances at me. She's inside, Desiree murmurs, gesturing. I tried to talk, but she freaked out. She's sobbing or something. Figure you should handle it? My jaw tightens. All right, thanks. I'll see if I can get her to leave quietly. Desiree steps aside, giving me a slight nod of support. Then I knock softly on the closet door. Riley? Open up. No immediate answer. I hear muffled sniffling. Sighing, I grab the doorknob. It's unlocked, just jammed. I push it gently and it gives, revealing a cramped closet stacked with folded chairs and cleaning supplies. Riley sits on a low stool, face blotched, eyes streaming tears. She glances up. Go away, she chokes out. I can't face anyone. I step in, quietly shutting the door behind me. You have to. The press is out front and you can't hide here forever. She covers her face with her hands, voice trembling. They all saw me. They know. My life is over. A wave of mixed emotions surges in me. Part pity, part anger. It's not over, messy, sure. But you brought this on yourself. Hector basically disowned you out there. She shudders at the memory. He told me earlier that if the press asked, I should deny everything. But they have photos. Everyone can see it's me. She wipes her eyes fiercely. Chase, I'm sorry. I never wanted it to blow up like this. I remain standing, arms crossed. What did you expect, Riley? Sneaking around with him, lying to me, lying to the public. Did you think no one would ever find out? She inhales a ragged breath, shoulders quivering. I didn't think. I was so caught up in the idea of success. He promised me a new position in Denver, better money. He said it was no big deal if we had a discreet fling. My stomach twists. So you wanted to upgrade your life at the cost of our marriage. She meets my gaze, tears glistening. I let myself believe it was harmless. I was wrong. Please, can you help me? I can't handle this alone. I bark a hollow laugh. Help you? You want me to lie to the press, say you never cheated, or maybe pat your back while you cry about him dumping you? Her lips tremble. You used to love me. Don't you have any compassion left? Silence stretches. My mind replays the nights she disappeared, the phone calls, the cologne on her clothes. I feel no compassion, only a cold emptiness. I love the woman I thought you were, but that person's gone. She sobs anew, grasping at her hair. Then what am I supposed to do? Everyone's going to brand me a homewrecker. I'll lose my job, my reputation. I have nothing left. I watch her unravel, a small part of me acknowledging how far we've come from newlyweds to this closet meltdown. A final piece of me wonders if this punishment is enough. That's your reality. Let that sink in. Her shoulders quake. Then, in a whispered plea, could we at least go home? Talk? Figure out if there's anything left to salvage? I hesitate. The plan was always for a total meltdown for both of them. But I also had no illusions of reconciling. We can talk, but not right now. Let's get you out of this building without more drama. She nods, swallowing tears. All right. I lead her out a side door, Desiree discreetly guiding us. We bypass the main foyer where cameras still lurk. Jonas meets us by a staff exit. I can distract the few reporters out back if needed, he offers quietly. Riley keeps her head down, hair shielding her face. She mutters, "Please, just let me slip away. I can't face them." Jonas steps out, faking a phone call to steer a roving cameraman aside. We seize the moment, hustling Riley to her car. She sits behind the wheel, tears welling again. "I'll go home," she rasps. "I can't show my face anywhere else." I nod. "Fine. I'll come later after I handle the aftermath here." She nods numbly, starting the engine. I step back, letting her pull away. Jonas returns, sliding his hands into his pockets. "That was a scene. You all right?" I blow out a tense breath. "I'm fine. The meltdown is happening exactly as planned. Let's check on the press inside." He claps my shoulder gently. "You got it." Inside, the foyer is thinning out. A few reporters remain, packing up gear, but Talia stands by a corner typing on her phone. She spots me and waves me over. "Chase, that was intense. You see the footage from that confrontation? It's trending on local social media. Riley is basically labeled as the hidden mistress." She purses her lips. "It's going to get ugly for her." My heart flutters with contradictory feelings, grim satisfaction, pity. I nod. "Yes." "She made her bed?" Then more quietly, "Will your article get updated with these new details?" Talia tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. "Oh, yes. My editor wants a follow-up this afternoon. We might integrate the meltdown quotes, plus Hector's denial, plus the new allegations about hush money documents. It's a feeding frenzy." I grimace. "All right. Just keep the center's involvement minimal. We only accepted a donation, that's all." She nods, offering a small, sympathetic smile. "I got you. Your center is an unwitting victim here, too." By noon, Candace calls an emergency staff meeting in the break room. The tension is palpable. She, Jonas, me, Desiree, and a handful of others gather around a battered table. Candace stands at the head. "All right, folks. The press conference is over. The fiasco is public. First, I want to reassure you, our programs for the kids won't be canceled. We will keep working. The donation from Hector remains in our account, unless he tries to forcibly retract it." Jonas interjects. "Legally, once donated, it's tricky for him to yank it back. He might, but that'd put him in an even worse light. If he attempts, we can argue we already allocated the funds in good faith." Candace nods. "Yes, so we're safe financially. But in terms of PR, we might face some blowback. If any parents ask, we simply state we had no prior knowledge of Mr. Vidal's alleged misconduct. We accepted a donation in good faith to help the children." I chime in. "We have documented communications showing he approached us. We were transparent, so we're fine. The meltdown is about him, not us." Desiree folds her arms. "And about Riley?" she says softly. Candace frowns. "Yes, about Riley. She's not exactly a center employee, but she's connected to you, Chase, which draws some curiosity. For staff, please redirect any queries about her or her marriage to me or Jonas. Don't feed gossip." A ripple of agreement passes through the room. Jonas glances at me, then addresses everyone. "As your legal advisor in this matter, I just want to stress if reporters come fishing for quotes, politely decline, or refer them to management, the last thing we want is contradictory statements." We wrap up with a plan to do minimal public interviews. Then staff disperses, tension still simmering. Candace lingers, giving me a half hug. "Hang in there, okay? Let me know if you need time off." I manage a tight smile. I'll keep that in mind. For now, I prefer to keep busy. Mid-afternoon. Jonas and I retreat to my office, door closed. He collapses into a chair, exhaling. So, we're in the eye of the storm. Hector's meltdown is in full effect. I nod, leaning on my desk. Yeah. He might try to do damage control, but the net is cast wide. The lawsuits, hush money, the affair, all hitting at once. Jonas flips through his phone, scanning social media. Twitter is blowing up with Vidal scandal, music mogul scam. People are outraged. And the chatter about your wife is strong. Some are calling her a gold digger, homewrecker. Others pity her. I swallow a lump in my throat. I guess that's the public's perspective. She chose it. He glances up. How do you feel about that specifically, though? It's one thing to ruin Hector, but seeing Riley be publicly shamed is big. Are you sure? I exhale slowly, a swirl of old emotions fighting inside me. I'm not happy about the cruelty online, but she betrayed me. She lied over and over. This is the real world. Consequences. I can't shield her from it. Jonas nods. Understood. Just checking in. Around 4 p.m., I get a text from Riley. I'm home. Please come soon. I can't take this alone. Another from her half an hour later. Reporters at the apartment door. They keep shouting questions. Help. I debate ignoring them, but decide to see what's happening. By 5 p.m., I leave the center, Jonas reminding me, stay safe. Don't let them corner you. I drive to our apartment, spotting a small group of reporters outside the building's main doors. They're not a huge crowd, maybe 3 or 4, with cameras. I slip around the back entrance, punching in the residence code, sneaking to the 3rd floor. In the hallway, I see 2 reporters knocking on apartment doors. One lifts a camera as soon as I appear, calling, Mr. Morrison, are you and your wife divorcing after this scandal? I push past, quietly. No comment. The other tries to follow, but I quickly unlock my door and slip inside, locking it behind me. Riley paces the living room, hair frazzled, phone clutched in trembling hands. She rushes to me. Finally! They won't leave. They keep hollering through the door, wanting an interview. I drop my keys on the table. Ignore them. They'll get bored eventually. She looks near tears again. I can't do this. My boss texted that the venue is reviewing my position, because they don't want negative press. I sigh, crossing my arms. So you might lose your job. She chokes back a sob. Yes, and we rely on my income, too. Everything's crumbling. Hector won't return my calls. He blocked me. I'm an outcast, a pariah. Her words slice the air, but I maintain composure. So, you want me to do? What exactly? She looks up, desperation raw in her eyes. We're still married. Please stand by me publicly. Tell them I'm not some gold-digging adulteress, that it was all a misunderstanding. Anger flares. You want me to lie to the world? That's exactly what it would be, a lie. Because you did have an affair, whether you label it emotional or physical or both. You destroyed trust. Tears slip down her cheeks again. I know. But I'll do anything to fix it. I can apologize publicly, beg forgiveness. Will that help? I let out a grim laugh. No. You're missing the point. The scandal is real. Apologies won't stop the wave. And as for me, I have no intention of lying to save you from the bed you made. She collapses on the couch, trembling. Chase, please. We can't keep living like enemies. I'll sign anything, do anything. I exhale, running a hand through my hair. The plan was always that once the meltdown hits, I'd push for an ironclad advantage, like a divorce settlement, leaving me financially secure, ensuring no sympathy for her. Maybe this is the moment. Riley, if you truly want me to consider not crucifying you publicly, then you'll do something for me. I want a clean divorce, with no legal claims on my finances, no spousal support. You walk away. That's my condition. She stares, horror flickering in her eyes. Divorce? But I step closer, voice cold. You think we can remain married after everything? Even if I publicly deny your affair, it doesn't change what you did. So either sign the divorce peacefully, or we can do it the hard way, with all these reporters discovering more details, humiliating you daily. She pales, tears continuing. But how will I survive? I might lose my job, then I'll have nothing. Not my concern, I say bluntly. Don't push me on this, or I'll release more evidence. The late-night condo visits, the money exchanges. You want the world to see even deeper? How you schemed for status? She gasps, face crumbling. That's blackmail, Chase. I shrug. Revenge, call it what you want. You set this path. I'm giving you a straightforward option. Sign an uncontested divorce. Vanish from my life. Then I won't feed the media more about your lies. She presses trembling fingertips to her temples. God, I can't believe you've become this. Heartless. I square my shoulders, forcing the old guilt away. Better than the fool I was. Make your choice. For a long moment, she sobs quietly, shoulders shaking. Then, voice quivering, Fine, I'll sign whatever you want. Just let me keep some dignity, please. Don't reveal every detail. Let me salvage a shred of my future. My throat feels tight, but I maintain the mask. That's the deal. I nod once. Jonas will draw up the papers. You'll sign, and we'll be done. She nods numbly, tears streaming. I step away, glancing out the window at the reporters still loitering below. For now, stay inside. They'll leave eventually. Then you can handle your next steps. She folds her arms around herself, looking so small. Chase. I'm sorry, she whispers. I close my eyes briefly, anger and sorrow roiling. Yeah, too late. Then I head to the bedroom, leaving her to her hollow regret. Chapter 11. Morning dawns, 2 days after the meltdown at the press conference. The media firestorm continues. New revelations about Hector's hush money, more lawsuits piling up from previous victims, emboldened by Talia's coverage. He's hammered by condemnation across local networks. The center remains relatively untouched, portrayed as an innocent charity he tried to use for PR. Riley, as predicted, is under scrutiny. By now, her name circulates online. Riley Morrison, rumored mistress. She stays holed up in the apartment. She's told me she's on unpaid leave from the venue while they review the scandal. Her phone hardly stops buzzing with calls from curious acquaintances or vicious trolls. I, meanwhile, juggle the center's day-to-day tasks, ensuring the kids remain shielded from the fiasco. Jonas works on the legal angle for my impending divorce settlement. We keep everything behind the scenes. But time is moving quickly. It's around 10 a.m. at the community center. I'm in my office, scanning the final draft Jonas emailed for the divorce petition. Standard no fault, but referencing irreconcilable differences, effectively citing adultery if needed. I read the lines about spousal support waived, division of property, no claim on future assets. Perfect, just what I want. A knock at the door. I call, "Come in." Desiree steps in, expression hesitant. "Chase, you got a minute? We need to talk about something that happened this morning." Alarm flickers. "Sure, what's up?" She closes the door, voice hushed. "Riley showed up. She's in the rec room looking for you. Candace tried to direct her away, but she insisted. She's not looking good, man." I stifle a groan. "Why would she come here? She knows the press might still lurk around." Desiree shrugs, sympathy in her eyes. "She said she needs to speak with you about some urgent matter." She looked really shaken. "Might be something important." I stand, letting out a slow breath. "All right. Let's see what crisis it is now." We walk together to the rec room. I see Riley standing near the far wall, arms hugging herself. The colorful posters of youth activities create a stark contrast to her drawn, pale face. She sees me, some desperation flickering in her eyes. Desiree hovers near the doorway, giving me space. I approach Riley, crossing my arms. "What is it, Riley? You realize you shouldn't be here, causing a scene." She exhales, shakily. Sorry. I had no other option. The reporter staked out our apartment again, and I got a message that Hector's attorneys might try to spin blame on me for any hush money dealings. Her voice quivers. He's basically threatening to claim I lured him or coerced him. Anger flares. "You're worried he'll drag you under the bus legally?" She nods, tears forming. "Yes, he said he'd release messages that show me pushing for money, that I was the instigator. It's ridiculous, but I'm afraid if he frames me as some manipulative gold digger, the public might believe him." I press my lips tight. "So you're hoping I can intervene? Why would I help you with that?" She swallows. "Because if they portray me as the mastermind, it might blow back on you too, like we orchestrated this from within the community center. It could tarnish your reputation by association." A spike of doubt crosses my mind. Could Hector attempt to link me somehow? Possibly, but I have no direct contact with him about money. Still, the scandal's messy. He's desperate, obviously, but do you have any evidence that he was the one offering bribes or hush money? She lifts her phone. "I have texts from him referencing sums of money, telling me not to worry about it. Also, he gave me partial checks for random expenses. I never asked for them explicitly." I exhale. "So you might have a defense if he tries to scapegoat you." She nods, eyes pleading. "Could you or Jonas help me present that if his attorneys come after me? I might need a statement or something that clarifies I never used the center's name to extort him." I pinch the bridge of my nose. Jonas predicted we might see more frantic moves from Hector. "All right, let's do it this way. Give Jonas your evidence. He'll keep it on file. If Hector tries to accuse you publicly or legally, we produce the texts showing he initiated. That might protect you and the center." She blinks away tears, relief mixing with sorrow. "Thank you. I appreciate that you're not letting him ruin me even more." I meet her gaze with a steely look. "Don't mistake this for forgiveness. I'm just protecting myself and the center from further scandal, but I won't let him spin a false narrative that lumps me or the center in with your affair fiasco." She nods, wincing at the harsh truth. "I understand. Could you ask Jonas if he can gather everything? I'll forward the texts to him. Also, about the divorce papers, if you have them, I'll sign. I just want it done." A strange ache pulses in my chest. Even though I wanted this outcome, it's surreal seeing her capitulate so brokenly. I push the pity aside. "Yes, I have them. We can set a time tomorrow for you to sign. Jonas will be present as a witness." She closes her eyes, tears trickling. "Okay, I'll do it." I step aside to phone Jonas, telling him to come to the rec room. He arrives within minutes, wearing a crisp shirt, tie askew from the morning's chaos. I fill him in quickly. Riley stands by, shifting awkwardly as Jonas listens. He nods. "Sure, Ms. Morrison. If you have evidence that Hector was giving you money without your direct request, that could shield you from liability. Email me the texts, copies of checks if possible." She glances at her phone, wiping tears. "I'll do it now." Jonas holds up a hand. "Better yet, let's step into Chase's office for privacy. You can forward them from there. Then we'll discuss the timeline for signing the divorce documents." Riley flinches at the mention of divorce, but forces a nod. "Yes, let's do that." We move to my office, the three of us. Desiree quietly disappears. I perch behind my desk, Jonas in the spare chair. Riley stands near the wall. She taps at her phone, sending Jonas a flood of screenshots. He checks them, mild surprise crossing his features. These messages are pretty direct, Jonas murmurs. Hector says, "Don't worry about your expenses. I'll cover them if you keep meeting me discreetly." That's borderline evidence of hush-like arrangement. Riley's lips tremble. I never blackmailed him. He just offered. I guess because he wanted me to remain quiet about the affair. I exhale, mind swirling. That's all we need if he tries to pin the hush money on you. Just hold on to those messages in original form. Jonas will keep a backup. Jonas nods. Yes, I'll store them in a secure drive. Now, about the divorce, Chase told me you're ready to sign. She closes her eyes. Yes, I'll do it tomorrow. Let's finalize the time. Jonas flips open his laptop. We can schedule 1 p.m. tomorrow in my office downtown. That okay, Chase? I nod. Works for me. Riley breathes unsteadily. Fine, 1 p.m. I'll be there. A silence settles, thick and sad. After a moment, Jonas glances at me, then addresses Riley gently. So we'll handle all that. Ms. Morrison, do you have a safe place to stay after you sign? Legally, if you prefer to vacate the apartment, we can expedite. She shrugs, tears brimming again. Might go stay with my sister out of state. I don't know yet. Everything's so uncertain, I just want to vanish from the media swirl. I keep my expression neutral. That might be best. The reporters are hot on your trail right now. If you leave town, they might lose interest soon. Riley sniffs, nodding. Probably. After finalizing details, Riley leaves the center through a back door, Jonas escorting her out discreetly. I remain in my office, numb. The plan is nearly complete. She'll sign, relinquish claims, effectively vanish from my life. I glance at the clock, chest tight with a swirl of conflicting relief and sadness. There's a quiet knock at my door. Desiree peeks in. All good? I rub my temples. As good as it can be. She's signing the divorce tomorrow, then hopefully leaving. That's that. Desiree steps inside, closing the door softly. You sure you're okay with that? I know you wanted revenge, but you also once cared deeply about her. My stomach clenches. I did. Past tense. People change. She changed. So did I. Desiree nods slowly, eyes filled with empathy. I understand. Just, you don't have to be a robot. It's all right to feel hurt or sad or whatever else. I swallow thickly. I know. I'll process it eventually. Right now I'm focusing on ensuring the center and I remain unscathed, and that Hector gets what he deserves. She touches my forearm briefly. You're stronger than you realize, but also more human. Don't bury yourself in bitterness. I manage a tight-lipped half-smile. Thanks. I appreciate you having my back through this. Late afternoon, I catch bits of local news coverage. Hector Vidal's empire teeters as more alleged victims come forward. They mention he might face fraud investigations for laundering. The rumor is some authorities are sniffing around. Jonas calls me with an update. Dude, a state prosecutor is considering looking into Hector for potential financial crimes. If that happens, he could be indicted. This is bigger than a scandal, it's possibly criminal. My pulse quickens. Wow, that might truly bury him. Jonas chuckles. Yes, you wanted thorough destruction. Looks like you got it. I exhale, a sense of finality creeping in. That's good. Let him pay for all the people he's exploited. Jonas's tone turns curious. What about you after the dust settles? Gonna keep counseling at the center or do something else? I reflect. I love what I do here. So yeah, I'm staying. The kids need me. This fiasco can't overshadow that. At 6 p.m., I head home. The reporters outside our building have thinned. Maybe they realize no fresh story is coming tonight. I slip upstairs. The apartment is quiet. No sign of Riley. She texted me earlier that she's at a motel for the night to avoid the press. Fine by me. The place feels eerily empty. My eyes linger on the sofa where we once cuddled, the kitchen where we cooked together. Memories swirl, bittersweet. But the swirl doesn't stab as deeply as before. Maybe because I'm numb, or maybe because I've accepted the truth. I microwave a small dinner, slump onto a chair, phone in hand. Flicking through social media, I see Vidal scandal trending. People vilify him. Some mention the wife, rumors swirling that she might file for divorce. Indeed, tomorrow that becomes official. A pang of sadness hits me that our marriage ends not with quiet closure, but a media explosion. Then I remind myself, she caused it. I'm just ensuring I don't end up the fool. Chapter 12. The next day dawns crisp and bright. I wake early, mind thrumming with the final step. The divorce signing at 1 p.m. My emotions twist relief at escaping the toxic marriage, heartbreak over how it all imploded, satisfaction that my cunning plan worked. A complicated stew. I dress in simple slacks and a button-down, tie the laces of my shoes with shaky hands. The days of naive love are gone, replaced by a steely resolve. By 10 a.m., I'm at the community center, wanting to handle a few tasks before the meeting. Candace greets me with a gentle smile. Big day, huh? She must sense the tension. I nod. I'll be stepping out around noon to finalize the personal matter. She pats my shoulder. We'll manage. Good luck, Chase. And remember, you're not alone. We're here if you need support. I spend the morning counseling a teen named Javier, helping him cope with a broken family. The irony isn't lost on me giving guidance about trust and hope while I close the chapter on my own marriage. But it's reaffirming. The kids matter more than my personal tragedy. Noon rolls around. Jonas texts, I'm heading to the office. You on your way? I reply, leaving in 5. My heart pounds as I gather my keys, slip out, and drive downtown. The entire ride, I fight a swirl of memories, our wedding vows, the honeymoon pictures, all overshadowed now by her betrayal. Jonas's law office is in a modest building near City Hall. I park, stepping inside the air-conditioned lobby. A receptionist guides me to a conference room. Jonas stands there in a suit, divorce papers spread out on a polished wooden table. Riley is seated, looking pale. She doesn't look up until I close the door behind me. Jonas motions for me to sit across from her. So, we're here to finalize an uncontested divorce. Ms. Morrison, you've reviewed the terms? She nods, voice subdued. Yes, I have no further demands. Her gaze flickers to me. I'm forfeiting spousal support, property claims. In exchange, you'll keep quiet about any further humiliating details, correct? I meet her eyes. Yes, that was our deal. I won't feed the press more. But if they dig on their own, that's not my concern. She exhales. That's fair. Jonas places the pen near her. Sign on the highlighted lines, please. Riley's fingers tremble as she grips the pen. She eyes the document, then sets the tip to paper. That moment feels like time slows 8 years of marriage undone in strokes of ink. She signs, flips pages, signs again. Finally, she sets the pen down, tears glistening. Jonas nods briskly. All right, Mr. Morrison, your turn. I take the pen, heart thudding. My signature flows across each line. The final page, Chase Morrison. I sign with a flourish, numb yet determined. Jonas takes them, scanning quickly. That's it. I'll file it with the court. Typically, we get a final decree in a few weeks. But for all intents and purposes, you two are legally separated. We both remain silent. A sense of finality weighs heavy in the room. Riley sniffles, voice cracking. So, that's that. Jonas discreetly packs the papers, stepping out. I'll give you two a moment. The door clicks shut. Riley and I face each other across the polished table. She wipes her cheeks. Chase, I never imagined we'd end like this. I loved you once. Maybe I still do, in some broken way. I look at her, memories swirling. We had good times, but you chose a path that destroyed us. I can't overlook that. She nods, shoulders sagging. I know. I'll leave town soon. Let you move on. A heaviness grips my chest. Probably for the best. She pushes back her chair, stands. For a heartbeat, we linger, the ghost of old affection drifting between us. Then she musters a frail half-smile. I truly am sorry. I hope someday you find happiness that I couldn't give. I exhale. Likewise, if that's even possible for you. Goodbye, Riley. She swallows hard, picks up her purse, and heads to the door. My gaze follows her until the door swings shut, and with that, the last trace of my marriage vanishes into the corridor. Stepping out, Jonas greets me in the hallway, documents in hand. All done, buddy. You okay? I shrug, tension coiled in my gut. Weird feeling, but yeah, it's done. He squeezes my shoulder. Legally done. The emotional part might linger, but you'll handle it. Ready to keep forging ahead? I force a small nod. Yes. Let's go. We still have the aftermath with Hector to see. When I return to the community center, Candace sees me in the hallway. Is it final? She asks softly. I nod, voice subdued. Signed and sealed. She envelops me in a gentle hug. I'm sorry for everything, but you're free now, yeah? I let out a shaky breath. That's one way to see it. Thanks, Candace. Desiree passes by, noticing the moment. She offers me a sympathetic glance. I give her a faint wave. The staff mostly know the gist. Riley was the cheating spouse. We parted ways. I sense no judgment from them, only quiet support. That evening, Jonas calls me with more big news. Chase, you won't believe it. The district attorney's office just announced they're officially investigating Hector for fraud and money laundering. They might issue warrants soon. He's basically cornered. A jolt of triumph. That's bigger than I imagined. He might face actual prison time. Jonas laughs softly. Yep. Usually these white-collar types slip away with settlements, but with all the media pressure from Talia's articles and new victims, the DA wants to make an example of him. I recall how cocky Hector was, stepping into the center with that smug grin, believing he could spin me. Now he's staring down criminal charges. Couldn't have happened to a more deserving guy. 2 days later, the headlines confirm music mogul Hector Vidal indicted on multiple fraud counts. I watch the local newscast as they show him being escorted by men in suits, likely FBI or state investigators, while cameras flash. He attempts to hide behind sunglasses, ignoring the barrage of shouted questions. The anchor references how he's also at the center of a widely publicized affair. Then they mention me briefly. Hector Vidal's attempt at philanthropic ties ended abruptly, with the Colorado Springs Youth Community Center disclaiming any knowledge of his wrongdoing. The center's counselor, Chase Morrison, was said to be the husband of the rumored mistress, but no charges are filed against him. I smirk at the TV. Perfect. My name cleared, the center unscathed, Hector in handcuffs. The revenge arc is complete. In the following weeks, the media coverage gradually shifts away from the mistress aspect to the more sensational financial crimes. Riley, true to her word, packs up and moves out of state to her sister's place. The final divorce decree is just a formality. The scandal fizzles, overshadowed by Hector's legal meltdown. One crisp morning, Jonas visits me at the center. We walk outside near a small garden. He updates me. Hector's bail got set high. He might be stuck in jail for a while. The trial could be months away. I nod, gazing at the flowers kids planted. Good. He can't manipulate anyone from behind bars. Jonas rests a hand on my shoulder. You did it, man. You not only extracted yourself from her betrayal, but took down the scumbag who enabled it. How do you feel? I inhale the fresh air, a sense of a new beginning. Relieved, freed, maybe still a bit raw. But I know I did the right thing for me. He smiles. I'm proud of you. And hey, the center's thriving, donors are stepping up to fill the gap from the fiasco. So everything's stable. A wave of gratitude. That's all I wanted. To protect the kids, keep my work intact. The rest is done. Hey, listen.